All right. Thanks for listening to Street Fight, tuning in. Welcome to the show. I usually have music in my ear, but today we don't. This is the call-in show. We want to hear from you. It is not the ABCD call-in show. I need to work on not saying dates if I can't keep them. But I'm going to have some advertisements and some art. Next Sunday is going to be the official ABCD call-in show because I made that date announcement without realizing I had books and people to call in tonight. So look for that next week, the Anyone But Cis Dudes call-in show next Sunday on Street Fight. And I will use this as a learning moment so that I don't give out dates that I don't think I can keep anymore. This is Street Fight Radio, the number one anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. And you can reach us at 614-655-3887. We want to hear from you and what's going on in your world. If you want to support the show, it's all done through Patreon.com, the website where you support the people you like. You can sign up for $1 to $5 a month and get access to extra bonus material from Brian and I, including I'm doing live streams on Fridays at 3 p.m. called High Five Friday, where I share 5 things from the week that I enjoyed. You can come and talk to me and ask questions and share things that you like. Also going to be upping the amount of video game playing that goes on. I'll be around tomorrow on twitch.tv/StreetFightRadio playing some games in the afternoon to help you steal time from work. So, with that said, Brian, how's it going?
Good. I mean, okay. You know, I never want to go too far in the good department.
Why?
I'm feeling okay, you know?
Uh-huh.
Everything's going all right.
That's
I
good
get
to
the
hear.
Sunday scaries every Sunday. You know,
About
7:45 I start to have anxiety.
About the show?
I guess. I don't fucking know. I don't know why it happens. Probably driving to the show, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I still have those in a certain degree, because when Monday rolls around, I'm just like so surprised every single time it's Monday again. I'm like, you can't be serious. All I did was play video games and watch movies.
Yeah.
How can that happen? That doesn't take that much time, does it? Nope, it took my entire life away from me.
Yeah, Sunday is sort of like a weird day because I have Friday and Saturday off. And then Sunday feels like a day off.
Yes.
But then at the end of the night, it's like, oh, gotta go do this, though, you know?
Yeah. I watched NASCAR, fell asleep halfway through the race, and then woke up and had to scarf down dinner before work.
Yeah. I walked on a treadmill,
All right.
watched an Italian TV show, and went grocery shopping.
That's a wonderful day.
I'm sure it is.
Productive day.
It was productive. It was. The treadmill has been a lifesaver because the snow outside is basically concrete now.
Yeah.
Because it's been just freezing cold and there's been snow on the ground for days for weeks at this point. I hate snow. Snow is bad. My daughter is like, oh, it looks so good. It's beautiful. I'm like, it doesn't look beautiful. It's sludgy and gross, and it's black snow, and it's all piled up, and everything looks dead.
No, this snow is way better than this. Not the gray snow. It's pretty pristine and white out there.
In your yard.
Yeah.
You go out on the streets where it's black.
Yeah.
Black snow.
I don't know.
Texas tea.
Not like that's a bad opinion, man. You can't avoid the snow.
Don't like it. It's a good opinion because it's just you can be miserable for those months.
Who wants to be
You know?
miserable?
Me.
Me. No, you don't.
Me.
No, you don't.
Actually, it's gonna be like 50 degrees though later
That is
this
nice.
week, which is like, you know, I was thinking about it all day yesterday. And it's like when it's 50 degrees, it will feel like 70.
Oh yeah.
You know?
No, I'll be running out to the car with a t-shirt on.
Yeah, I'll be out walking and I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have worn this hoodie.
Right.
You know, it's too hot.
Yeah, I love the way it recalibrates.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It's weird how, like, you just are able to, like, you hear people in Florida who are like, it's 54 degrees, it's fucking freezing. And you're like, I would do anything for 54 degrees, you know?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like always like, I can't wait until there's leaves on the trees. That is when I shine. That is my most shining moment is once the leaves get on the trees, the bee man feels good. It just feels great, you know?
Yeah.
Look how beautiful this is. It's
Yeah.
lush.
I gotta
There's
say,
life.
tying your feelings to the weather is not a good idea.
Probably not. But, you know, I have unhealthy habits.
Yeah, we know.
The way I live. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's been a decent weekend. I worked through all the days last week, so I didn't have like an extra day off. But like, I felt good when I finished my last thing for the week. Like, it was sort of like a TGIF feeling, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't get that very much in our line of work, a TGIF feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to. I definitely have spent way too much time always working, and it's such a bad idea because it just ruins your life, and no one should be doing that, even if it's like a passion project or if you make your own money.
I just wanted to slide down the banister, the railing on my steps after I finished. Like I wanted to like do the Flintstones, like he slides down the tail of a dinosaur at the end of his day off. And whoo, you know, the noise comes.
Yeah.
And as soon as I finish that last podcast of the week on Thursday, I'm just like, hoo, and I slide down the banister, and I'm very excited.
Right. Well,
That's my Friday.
that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have one.
Fridays are great. They're the best days.
Well, it's coming. It's going to be Friday again soon.
I know.
Before you know it.
I know.
My Fridays are always just kicking myself to death because I didn't do enough on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I saved it all for Friday.
Yeah, I always feel like Friday I take off. Like, Friday is like a Saturday to me. I just am like, I'm not doing shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking sit on my ass, watch WandaVision, complain about it when it's over. And then...
You watching that by yourself or with the family?
With the family.
Okay.
We're all three watching it together.
Is this like a thermostat situation, or are you just forcing them to watch it, or...
I think I did the first 2 episodes, but now they're into it. You know? Now we're all like, kind of like, what happens next? You know?
Right.
We've gotten into the groove of like a mystery, and you're like, ooh, there's a mystery happening. What's going to happen? You know? And that's just... I don't know. I like mysteries. Very into that. And we're watching this show called Ozark that none of us, I don't think, like. I don't think any of the 3 of us like it, but we're going to see it through, I think. Which is, you know.
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the contract of TV watching.
Once you get to episode 6, it's like, let's see this through.
Yeah.
Maybe something good will happen. I don't know.
Can't give up.
Maybe something that doesn't suck will happen. And then you'll be like, what?
Look, okay, they got me back in. Those last 3 seasons I watched weren't the best, but now I'm back.
Yeah, getting back in would imply that I was in at all through the whole thing.
Ah, okay.
I haven't been in.
Now I'm in.
I've been on a thing where I'm like, I don't like this. Now I feel like I've roped everybody into this thing.
And you want to pull the ripcord? I do that to my... I watch a movie with my wife, and about 20 minutes in, I'm like, all right, let's just get out of this. Let's get out of this boondoggle here.
So smart. That's why I was...
We're going to regret this. I can already tell I don't like the humor. I don't like this fucking tone on none of it.
I was talking about that today with WandaVision. It's like, you know, whatever they make, I'm going to watch because I've just spent... It's just, you sunk so much time into this at this point.
Yeah.
Just... an amount 40 hours or 50, 60 hours you've sunk into this thing. And you're just like, I don't like it, but like, what if it makes me feel like it did at the beginning when I decided to sink myself into it? But you know, it's not going to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I went and saw Iron Man. I remember the year Iron Man came out, right?
Oh.
It came out the same year as The Dark Knight. And I went around saying I liked Iron Man more than I liked The Dark Knight. That was like my whole thing. It was like Iron Man was better.
Yeah.
You know? Love this Iron Man. And then the next year, The Incredible Hulk came out. And I was like, oh, I like that, you know? And then, but then like 15 movies in, it's like, I don't like this anymore. This is not for me. But I'm just going to keep watching it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how to read comics, which it seems like a prerequisite for watching these movies and stuff, that you know something about the comics. But I don't know anything because they don't understand. For you comic book people out there, you don't understand how hard it is to read a comic book. You will never get it to an outsider that's looking in and at one point said, I want to read Civil War, and then started to Google how to read Civil War, and it seemed like the hardest thing in the history of the world, and I just gave up. You know? They can't just put them all in one book. It's got to be in 72 books for you to fully understand it. And then they won't just make one book of the whole story. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what it was like back then too, when it was coming out. Is that they were trying to get you to buy all of their titles. So you out of nowhere, you have to start buying, you know, a Black Cat comic book or something because it has a Civil War tie-in.
Yeah, but you're like, well, but like now that they've done it already, couldn't they just make a compilation of those books in one book that I would be interested in reading? For real.
They might. I don't know. You couldn't find it?
I looked a
to be
long
an
time
omnibus.
ago, and there just wasn't much of one, and it was just they were like, you got to buy this, and this.
I gotta say, comics are not like TVs and movies where you just go to the internet and they tell you what to read.
I know.
You gotta go. Here, the best way to do it is just go to the library and just look at what they have and thumb through stuff until you see something that grabs your attention. I think that's the best way to do it.
The library never has my library doesn't have everything, or even close. They have like a little bit of a lot of stuff, but not a complete series. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll have
They have a ton of they have graphic novels there, I'm sure.
No, not at my library. There's not much there at all.
Do you go to the teen section ever?
I do.
Because that's where I hang out.
I did. Oh God, can't go down there. They don't like guys that look like me go down there.
I have to slip in and show them like some Naruto like hand signals, like my shadow jutsu, and then I go to the manga real quick and grab stuff and go away so they don't think I'm eavesdropping on their conversations.
Maybe now with my new clothes, like now that I wear like teen type clothes, I can walk in there and they'll be like, oh, this guy obviously likes teen stuff. He's wearing a teen shirt.
They're gonna think you're just like an old senior. They're just gonna be like, who do you have for Miss Science next year? Miss McCutcheon, she sucks.
Yeah, I don't like to hear their conversations.
I don't want to hear their conversations either. I always get away as fast as possible, and then you look, and then you're like, oh, I gotta go somewhere. I can't be here.
It's also because you know that they
violating their space.
Right. They think you're listening too because you're an adult.
Right.
And teenagers these days, you talked about something last night that just broke open something in my mind. But teenagers these days aren't afraid of adults. They don't. When we were kids, you know, you were just afraid of adults. You didn't fuck with them, really. You know, with rare few exceptions. There was always like a kid in school that punched a teacher or something like that, obviously.
Yeah.
But most kids were just like, I don't want to get tangled up with adults. They can ruin my life, all this stuff. Now they're just like, hey, bro, like a 17-year-old boy will come up to you at 42 and be like talking to you about weed and stuff. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, I think
cursing and stuff, just cursing at you.
Yeah, we let them cuss all the time, and we talk to them like regular people, and they talk back like they're just a regular person and not a kid. Yeah, and they were more like I would be more likely to just say like fuck you and sprint away and laugh on the way, but they'll stand there and argue against you, really, you know, like really make you explain yourself. Even the fucking 8-year-olds are doing that to me already.
Yeah, they give you shit.
Yeah, and you want to answer, you're like, I need to be honest to this person, and you just want to go back to the old ways when you can just be like, fuck you, you're a kid. I'll get you in trouble.
I know. How many adults just said shit to me like...
Oh, yeah.
Like,
because that's the way it is.
Fucking get it. That's just the way it is, you know? Go piss off, kid. Go play with your G.I. Joes when you're 16. They still think you're playing with toys.
Yeah.
You know? Adults didn't respect you until you started to like use hammers and stuff like that. Then they were like, "Oh, you got a nice Black and Decker over there." Yeah. All right, that was like what I always thought meant you were an adult, was when like, because they would be like, "Go, why don't you go fucking trade your baseball cards or something?" And you're like, "I don't play with baseball. I'm 16 years old.
Yeah,
I have a job." You know,
right.
like, you're telling me, but adults just thought anybody under 25 was stupid and played with toys.
Yep.
But now it's all different.
Yeah.
Now we've created like the millennials. I don't know if I'm a millennial. It's like so weird.
You're one of us.
It's a weird thing because it's like if you just go by the years, I'm like the earliest of the early millennials or the latest of Gen X. Like, I don't feel like I fit in either thing. I was born in 1979, and they always say millennials are 1980. But it's like, but I hang out with people that are younger than me mostly. You know, I'm the oldest person I know.
Right.
So,
well, I forgot what I was going to say there.
but I helped you guys fuck it up. I helped you guys fuck up the adult mystique.
Oh yeah,
you know?
that's what I was going to say too. What we were talking about is that millennials, we kind of screwed up because when we were a kid, the TV didn't say fuck and ass, and it wasn't like families weren't all making like, you know, cunnilingus jokes like you can do on TV nowadays. There was this really respectability thing. You would get in trouble. You got your mouth washed out with soap if you said a cuss word. But now with my kids, it's just like, don't say that around grandma and don't say that at school.
That's how I always
That's all
was
it is.
too.
You can say if you hurt your finger, if something is really good, you can say, "Oh fuck, that's good," but you can't do that at school.
Yeah, don't get me in trouble. You know, my philosophy with Gwen has always been, don't make me put on a show in front of other adults. You know?
Yeah.
Just you do whatever you want. But don't make me don't like stay the night at a friend's house and sneak out and get drunk. Because then I have to come over and be mad in front of the other parents and be like, you get your ass in, but then just be like, okay, like whatever. Yeah, I've been having these thoughts lately, and we'll get to the calls in just a second, but I've just been having these thoughts lately, and this is not because my kid is interested in this or anything like that. I want to preface this by saying it hasn't been brought up, the topic hasn't been broached, but I'm just like, parents of teenagers, I can't be the only one that during this pandemic has thought like, I'm just going to let her get high. You know what I mean? It's just, these kids don't get to do anything. They're locked in the house until at least next fall. And it's just kind of like, let's just let them smoke some fucking weed. You know? It's popped in my mind several times just to be like, you can have an edible. I don't care. You know? I just feel for them so much. Like, my daughter hasn't hung out with adults or hasn't hung out with other teens in months at this point.
We did board game night last night, and I'm so used to her. I still think of her not being there. I'm like, oh, Gwen's not going to come. It'll just be us four. And then I'm like, oh, no, she has to hang out with old people all the time now.
I know. That's why. I'm like, just let her have a fucking cocktail or something. I don't fucking know. You know, I just don't know how to deal with this. I don't know what I would have been doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I don't know what to say. I don't think I would choose drugs and alcohol as a solution to problems for my kid.
I know, but
that's what everybody else does. That's what everybody else in the world is doing, and everyone around you is doing to make it through this. Is drugs and alcohol.
Right. So I'm like only understand the way that I deal with shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like she, like I said, she hasn't asked or anything, and I don't know if she like wants to, but like I don't want to be the person that's like, you know, let's get high together. Just if she said something, I'm at a weak. What I'm saying is, if she requested it, I'm at a weak spot.
Sure.
In my life,
the dam could break.
Where I would just be like, "Fuck it, let's get high."
Yeah.
You know, let's just get high together.
I had a weird friend whose mom made him smoke weed with her when he was 14, and was like, "You're gonna do this with your friends anyways, so I want you to show you what it's like or whatever, or I want to be there." to help.
I don't want to
you.
be that.
Yeah, but he's a lawyer now that lives in Los Angeles, so
Yeah. I just don't want to I don't want to have her doing stuff that she wasn't gonna naturally do.
Oh yeah.
You know, if I thought that was what she was gonna do, I would probably be like, let's just smoke some weed.
If she came home stinking like weed.
Yeah, we hung out with a guy whose dad would let you hang out at his house on Friday nights, and you could smoke weed inside, but you couldn't smoke cigarettes inside. And just like his dad worked at Meijer, and he worked like third shift. So like everybody in my grade, all the bad kids in my grade would go over to Dennis's house every Friday night. And
how old was he?
He was 15 or 16 when we were doing it.
Okay.
And I had sex the first time there. I did acid one of the first times there, and so much stuff. And it's like, I wonder if that dad knows that his house was just like such a fucking spiritual journey for so many people.
Yeah. A lot of people's trauma started there.
Yep. All right, let's get some calls in. Let's talk to the listenies.
Moloch Frolix in the chat says, my parents stole my weed and smoked it and then blamed my brother, so we fought.
Yeah.
That is like a Greek tragedy, right?
I mean, it is weird too that my parents aren't getting high. You know, it's like, what are people doing just sitting around sober in this? There's just nothing. You know how much better TV would be if you were high?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, they don't know.
And that's all you're doing is watching fucking TV. What else is there? That's what Gwen's been saying for weeks now. Just I don't know. I can't really get up to take a shower and go watch TV, which is all there is to do.
Yeah, I don't think that's all there is to do, but
it's how it feels for us. I mean, we play games or watch TV, but I can't ever get them to play a goddamn game.
Yeah. I mean, life is more than just staring at screens. You can create stuff as well.
Oh, we don't want to do that.
Pursue hobbies.
No, I spend my week creating stuff. That's true. I should pursue some hobbies. You're right. And, my daughter should pursue some hobbies for sure. I've never met a 16-year-old with zero hobbies.
Yeah, I don't know what... I mean, I guess I was into stuff, but...
Every 16-year-old is passionate about something. My 16-year-old is I like playing Minecraft and Roblox. It's like, you're fucking 16, kid.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yep.
We got to get her back on the show.
I know.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while. All right, let's jump on here. I think this first one we got here is this is from UCLA. I think they're doing some union stuff there. We'll talk to them.
UCLA.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, guys.
Hey, who's this?
My name's Nick. I'm a grad student and union organizer at UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles.
What's up, Nick? For the grad school?
Correct. Yeah. So I'm actually calling in because we have a union campaign we just went public with. So we're organizing around 20,000 student researchers across all the UC campuses. So UCLA is one, but there's Berkeley, Santa Barbara, San Diego. There's a bunch of campuses.
I did a little work. I did a little work for some research projects when I was in college. And they hired me on, actually. And it was this big moment, where this teacher was like, I really see a lot in you, and I want to hire you on. I want to pay you to do this. I think, Brian, that your future is in grad school, And then I was like, cool, what's it pay? And he $8.60 an hour or $8.50 an hour. And I was like, okay, well, this is not my future then.
Okay, this is my McDonald's money.
Yeah, it would be pretty nice if that were a union gig, because right now, I'm not sure how much everyone knows about grad school. I know a lot of Street Fighters are grad students.
Oh, yeah.
Dope. A lot of comrades listen, I think. But when you're in grad school, for the most part, it's like a full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
And most people either teach or do research, and that can vary as a function of time. So I'm in my fourth year. For the first 3 years, I taught. For my next 3 years, I will be doing and getting paid for research, but only teaching assistants at the University of California are unionized. So half the time we have a union contract, but when we get paid to do research, we don't. So we get screwed over, and we get these poverty wages like Brian was talking about, where your job can just disappear out of nowhere and there's no guarantee. So we're trying to fix that by expanding our bargaining unit by another 20,000 folks.
Yeah. I mean, I always, it was so weird because I always did feel like when they told me what they were going to pay me, and then I noticed that a lot of my teachers were grad students. And I was like, well, I had to assume that they were paying them something decent because of what I was paying. But the more we talk to people in grad schools, the more we find out that, like, it really is just, it's like driving for Uber or something in a way. It's like a highly specialized thing that's very important, but they treat you like you're like an Uber driver or something. Like you're making, no money. And you're doing a lot of the harder work as researchers. They're doing the like data. What I was doing was filling in data spreadsheets of just, I basically was going through voter registration petitions and writing down every single voter and their address.
Oh God!
Into a spreadsheet, and that's like what I was doing. So then they could go to the spreadsheet, and so they can go to the spreadsheet later and then compile the data, or like use that spreadsheet to figure out the data or whatever. And it was like grueling work, and it was like I was doing it 12 hours a day, but I was really making no money. So.
Yeah, I don't think most people realize, like, science is a pretty collaborative effort. So, you need a lot of labor to get science done, and it's not professors for the most part who do the grunt work. It's grad students. And what's really fucked up, and most people really don't realize this, even if they're applying to grad school until they get here, they kind of cap our pay 20 hours a week. But we're expected to do 40, 50, 60 hours. So,
what?
Yeah,
like me, for example, I'm getting paid this year for 20 hours a week. So they call it 50% time. And my rate hourly is pretty good. I'm making like a little over $30 an hour, but I'm not going to finish my degree or do any of my research unless I'm actually putting in 40 hours. So I usually work like 8-9 hours a day. And
fuck that.
Technically, I'm only getting paid for half of that.
Yeah, they're paying you half.
That's how it works, and we have no say in it right now.
Yeah, they're paying you half your pay. I mean, they found a way to pay you $15 an hour, basically. On paper.
Oh, yeah.
Without actually paying you.
When you
go ahead.
Yeah. At a glance, it looks great. Like, yeah, pretty much everyone you start and it's like, great, I'm going to make, $29 an hour my first year, get a pay raise to 30, maybe get a pay raise to 33 or something like that. But when they cap you at 20 hours a week, it's absolutely ludicrous. I think my take home pay is around like $30K, which in Los Angeles is just barely paying rent and getting me from A to B.
Right,
That's
and
nothing.
they probably also give you grief because you make $30 an hour. You can imagine somebody hearing that they make $30 an hour, what they would say. Oh, stop complaining. It's like, no, I'm not working. Like, if you were working 40 hours a week, I would say stop complaining. Like if you were getting paid $30 an hour for that much time. But it's just like being an academic used to be such a, like, I mean, it wasn't a place where you went to get rich, but it was a place where you could make a comfortable living and have a comfortable job. And they have pretty much decimated that when it comes to like how many people get tenure, and because they're just using grad students to teach all the courses, they don't need as many people with tenure, which is just so, it's like the college system is so fucked up. How much have they been pushing back on the union since you have announced it? How much shit have you caught?
We only announced 6 days ago on the 15th of February, so we haven't heard anything back yet, but we know they have a anti-union consultant because some research scientists, so people with PhDs who work in labs, they unionized a few years ago, and they got an anti-union campaign against them. But we're expecting, they have the everyone email list. So they can draft a message and send it to literally everyone. and usually at multiple email addresses. So we spend months, talking to people one-on-one. A lot of it over Zoom, a lot of it just calling and just talking to as many people as possible because we're not all in a workplace, but we're all coworkers. So it's just a lot of organizing and listening to people and figuring out what they care about. But I think the main thing for folks is pay, right? We don't get paid enough. We need more money, and a union is the way to get it.
Absolutely. It's a way to, it's also a way to like level out those hours. Not that like grad school is really, people in grad school are passionate. A lot of them are passionate about what they do, and they're gonna work long hours no matter what, but like getting some kind of fair compensation for it seems great. And what's also weird about this is that like colleges get this shit for being these like bastions of liberalism and communism and shit, and they will always hire a union, do an anti-union campaign. They always figure out a way to do an anti-union campaign, which is like, you're bringing in so much money. What is so expensive to run a college? With the amount of money that they bring in, every person you see there is just spending just piles of cash to be there. Like, what is the school doing with that money?
It's all these administrative positions that do nothing. In California, you can look up all public employees' salary, and there's like 20 people who make over $500,000 at the University of California.
Yeah, not
a lot
necessary.
of people making 400 to 500, just totally unnecessary.
What's a football coach make?
Paper pushers. They're sending emails.
What's a football coach make?
Too much.
Yeah. I used to see Ohio State's football coach's salary sometimes and be like, oh my God, what am I paying for here?
Yeah, I mean, you guys were talking about like fair compensation. Something that's crazy is half the time I've had a union when I worked as a teaching assistant. Now I don't as a student researcher. But like when I went over hours, I was able to grieve and like use our contract to get overtime. And at $30 an hour, it's pretty nice when you have a union contract. So we're trying to get that right and get a damn contract for all 40,000 of us, not just the half who are teachers.
Yeah,
that's great. So what can Street Fight listeners do to help?
Yeah, I mean, if you're at UC, I bet there's a couple folks listening right now. Get involved, talk to your coworkers, ask them what they care about, and just organize. You don't have to be part of an organizing committee or anything to organize. It's just talking about work and talking about what you don't like about work and how you're going to fix it.
Yeah, because eventually there's a vote. Where if you're just having conversations with people, eventually there's a vote, and that conversation will mean something.
Exactly. Well, we actually have card check. We are in a state with public employees get card checks, so we are signing cards. And if you are a student researcher at University of California, go to sruuaw.org. Student Researchers United, United Auto Workers, that's sruuaw.org, and you can sign a card. And if you're not here and you're working as an academic somewhere, just talk to your coworkers, man. That's the start. That's what we got to do.
Hell yeah. Help them out there. Good luck with it. Keep us posted on what's going on. And, solidarity.
Yeah, let us know what went down. We want to hear an update. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, guys.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
Ohio State's head coach is up for a contract extension through 2026 and would increase his pay to nearly $5.4 million in 2020, $6.5 million in 2021, and $7.6 million the following year.
Wow. That's unacceptable.
I know.
I came up when I got mad about the snow pants, and I was thinking that snow pants should be a state-run industry that we just rent. I also came to the conclusion 100% is no one should have more than $1 million. I think 100% tax over $1 million. I can't conceive of any reason. I keep trying to do the math in my head on why I would need $1 million, and there's no reason that you can't just pay for vacations and to visit places. No reason to own summer homes and all the vehicles and shit I could rent if I made $1 million a year. There's no reason.
Yeah, just being able to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can do that with $1 million.
Yes.
Like, I don't care if you want a yacht.
Right.
You know, too bad.
It's too bad.
Spend
Sorry.
some of your $1 million on that yacht. you
Yeah.
know?
Chip in with 50 other assholes and buy a $50 million yacht. I don't know.
Yeah. See these like super yachts.
Do a timeshare on a yacht.
They should. It's not like they're out on their yacht every day.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
I've been to the docks.
It's like snow pants.
I've been to the docks during winter or during the summer, midsummer.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when we went Labor Day weekend, we did a live gig in Chicago, and me and my wife went for a walk at the lake there. And, you know, there were a lot of people boating, but there were also a lot of boats docked.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, I mean...
Someone could have been out there on these ones.
Yeah, these ones. Somebody was probably also standing at a boat dealership.
Yep.
Buying a new boat. And somebody was in a boat factory making boats. You know?
Right. It doesn't have one.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to take another call?
Uh-huh.
I got a good one here. This is...
They're all good ones to me.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. This is, I believe, Lance from Jeopardy.
Oh, what?
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey. Hi, this is Lance in Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey,
What's
how's
up,
it going?
Lance?
Hi.
Are you still in the
Hi.
in the Jeopardy?
Oh no. I filmed in December and I ate shit on TV on Monday, but I did win. Am I the first Jeopardy champion in Street Fight Nation?
Yes,
of course.
it is. You're
Of
the
course.
only one.
You know what's funny is like
Yeah.
I used to watch a decent amount of Jeopardy, Lance, and like I am really good at trivia. The only problem is I'm not really good at like how did you practice for this? Like category wise. Are you like a grad student or did you practice like Rosie Perez and White Men Can't Jump? Or what how did you get ready for this?
Well, I am a grad student, so definitely solidarity to that last caller. I have a union here at UW-Madison, and, you know, the pay is still not great, but I've got benefits, and I've got somebody protecting my interests, and it feels great. So solidarity. Hope he gets that union. But as for studying, I've just always been, like, a big trivia dork, but there's a website made by clearly insane people where they track every single question that has ever been asked on Jeopardy and who answered it, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
And they have a very specific house style. They don't reuse questions, but they reuse answers, and they have very specific categories with weird patterns and stuff. And if you just, spend a few hours a day studying those, you'll start to pick up weird shit.
That's fucking incredible. I mean, I knew that there had to be somewhere to go to know some of the questions. It's just that sometimes there's just like wide variety of things. Like if I went on Jeopardy and they had a fucking category for TV, a category for fucking music, you know, rock and roll music and shit and rap music, I would fucking clean up. But then they would be like world geography, and I would be like, I don't know where anything is at all.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't point at Belarus on a map ever. Like I don't even know. I couldn't point to the right quadrant that if you cut the map in 4.
Yeah.
And they said point to the quadrant that Belarus is in, I wouldn't even be able to do that.
All right.
It would be a crapshoot if they cut it in 2 and they told me to point at it. It would just be a guess, you know? So it's just like, I don't understand. Like, here's the thing. I truly, deeply wanted to be on Rock and Roll Jeopardy when that existed. And I think I would have been great at that. But
that was a thing?
Yeah. The guy from Survivor hosted it. Jeff Probst from Survivor hosted Rock and Roll Jeopardy. And it was on VH1. And I would say that I probably didn't get... I got so many questions right. I was just a genius when it came to that. So then I was like, I'm going to start watching Jeopardy because I'm so fucking good at Rock and Roll Jeopardy. I'm just great at Trivial Pursuit. the 90s edition.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
just only questions about the 90s.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
the one decade of expertise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
I don't like trivia very
he
much.
doesn't.
I'm very offended by trivia. It just makes me feel stupid, but I know I shouldn't feel stupid. But then I'm also like, why can't I just know stupid stuff, you know?
We played a trivia game called Bezer Whizzer on a trip we took this year to a cabin. We weren't doing anything else. We were just going to be in the cabin. Just us and our friends. Just, getting close to nature and feeling really good about it. And then we went to play a trivia game, and it pissed Brett off so much.
I should have excused myself from the room.
He was so mad and everybody knew it, and everybody was like getting uncomfortable with it. But then, it was like, fine, Brett's mad again. What are you gonna do? It's fine. But
Angry
I'm
again.
good at it. I was great at it.
Brian is good at trivia.
I'm full of useless knowledge, but I don't think I'd be good at Jeopardy. So, how do you try out for Jeopardy? What is the process here?
You just you could take an online test that anybody can take, and if you pass that, they don't tell you if they do. You'll just get a call later, like a job interview. Then you take another test, which is it's like 50 fill in the blank questions, and you only have 15 seconds to answer each one. And when you take the second test, they also give you make you play a fake game to make sure that you can go through the motions quickly, like you can pick a category and make your wagers and all that stuff. And then a little interview, but then they just put you in the pool, and that's pretty much it. But it's definitely funny you say that about cleaning house on the popular music categories. I'm a film student. I study film, so I just cleaned house on the movies and television, and then I swept a category that was just old rock and roll stars. So I think our expertise is not so different.
Yeah, it's just that I don't know a lot of anything else. I'm just really, if there was a show about pop culture, I think I'm pretty much an ex. I could be. Remember that show Beat the Geeks? Did you ever watch that show?
On
Boy,
Spike?
do I. Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah,
I wanted to be on
I
that
could
one.
have beat the pop culture geek. I'm both the music geek and it was on Comedy Central. And what it was you competed against 3 other people, regular people, and then at the end you competed against a geek of your choosing. I believe. I might be wrong about the mechanic
Sure.
of the game.
Sure.
But oh boy, I could have been one of the geeks, dude. I could have been.
Let's make you a geek.
I could have been a music geek or a TV geek. Not film necessarily. Maybe though. I've seen a lot of movies, but so do they pay for you to be? Number one, one question: who was the host when you were doing it?
Ken Jennings.
Is he cool?
Yeah, I didn't get to hang out with him or kick it or anything, but he was very nice and he was very professional and in good spirits. It was just it wasn't my buddy Ken.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something, and I hate to say this. I was listening for some of you on Howard Stern this week, but Howard and Robin do not like Ken Jennings at all. They want George Stephanopoulos to host Jeopardy, but they didn't mention you.
Fuck that.
But if they mention you, Lance, I will be the first to DM you and say Howard Stern talked about you on his show, as that's what I'm an expert in. But do they fly you out, or do you have to get there yourself? And do they put you in a hotel?
I had to pay for myself to get there, and I'm in Wisconsin. I went to Los Angeles, and I paid for a shitty little motel called Dino's Motel. But even if you get third place, you get $1,000. So if you've got the money to get there, you will get compensated at least somewhat. But it turned out to be pretty lucrative. I got 20 grand.
Yeah, you made money, but I gotta tell you though, they should be paying for that room and that flight. I think I'm gonna organize Jeopardy champions to get you your money back. Actually,
Yeah, I would have made it through and then been like, none of this fucking matters. And then there you would have seen me in the headlines, viral moment on Jeopardy goes wild. And then I would make money off of that.
yeah, I would definitely My downfall would have been, I would have been totally confident that I was gonna make $20,000, right? And then I would get a hotel room to cost as much as possible.
Right, you would have bought some stuff. Like I need to get a good outfit. I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to get $20K tomorrow. Might as well spend $1,000 on an outfit.
I would have spent so much money on clothes, man. Oh my god! Did you buy new clothes for it?
No, I did not. I'm a grad student, and so I have to have like a few nerdy, twerpy outfits to teach in. So I had those at the ready.
Yeah, y'all are good to go for Jeopardy. They just file you in there. What do you know? What the fuck do you think you know?
Yeah, I feel like I
are you
feel
putting
like
Jeopardy? Why is it called Jeopardy? Are you in Jeopardy when you're
I
playing?
think that's an old thing. Can I?
What's in Jeopardy?
You can like lose money on all the questions.
That's true.
Your reputation
lose
is in
money.
Jeopardy.
I think.
No, I think it's called Jeopardy because like
you have to
if
pay
you
the money.
answer wrong, you lose.
And you have to pay that. That would be
No,
sick if
that would be
you
sick
racked
if
up
they
debt.
made you pay if you came in negative. If they made you pay it, that would be a sick fucking game.
Then they would put Jeopardy centers all around the country, and people would be getting collection from Jeopardy. Collection calls.
I would probably never
I
miss.
hate to call you out, but that's a joke straight from The Simpsons.
Is
They
it
do that
really?
literally on The Simpsons.
Oh,
Yep.
jeez. Well, I gotta tell you, I would totally fucking watch. I would love a show where you could actually come out in debt. You know, like what? And you can do a GoFundMe later on. You know,
And also,
you're famous.
you didn't call us out. No one watches The Simpsons that does this show.
Yeah, we don't watch The Simpsons. We don't know nothing about The Simpsons. That is,
never seen it.
All right, well.
we've neither one of us have ever seen The Simpsons or heard of it. So that's just a little something about us.
Point of pride. We're built different.
All right. Fair enough.
I've seen like 3 seasons of it.
I've seen millions of episodes of The Simpsons.
You know,
I don't
it's
remember any of them.
There came a time in my life where I said, it's a cartoon. I can't watch it anymore, you know? And then I feel stupid for that now. Because now every meme is a Simpsons meme, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a bit beat for me. Sorry.
That's
It
fair.
wouldn't be if you watched it, though. You know what I'm saying? If you got the memes,
Oh, I get
it
them.
wouldn't be beat
Yeah.
for you. You know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, shit, that's from episode 3000.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. Was there an audience there?
There was not an audience there. They actually had all the contestants be in the audience just so they had some like audience reaction stuff to like play off of. But that's pretty much it. Oh, they did have us in the Wheel of Fortune set as the green room because the green room was too small for COVID.
You got pictures,
the
right?
Wheel of Fortune set. No, they wouldn't let me.
What?
I was not allowed to have my phone out. But I will say the Wheel of Fortune set, dinky and chintzy as hell.
No, don't say that.
What?
That wheel,
It's all cardboard?
I'm telling it.
There's 2 things that I think
It
are
looks-
so magical to me as a person, and it's the Wheel of Fortune. Looks so cool, and the big wheel on The Price is Right, you know? And now you're telling me that the Wheel of Fortune looks cheap?
The Wheel of Fortune, my God, it's so small, it's so dinky.
What?
It's like, it does not evoke fortune at all.
That's
It's not.
nuts.
It's depressing.
No. See, now that cost this Jeopardy. You may have won some money, but it cost you a lot.
The Wheel of Fortune
That
looks
costs-
big and heavy.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the best, biggest, heaviest roulette wheel.
I know.
It's a Cadillac of roulette wheels.
I cannot. Did you spin it?
They were very, very strict many signs around that said, do not touch the wheel. They were very particular about that.
Selfish.
I would've-
You know why, though? You know why? Because it's probably a piece of shit that would fall apart if you touched it, now that you think about it.
Yeah.
But doesn't it look like when they grab the pin to spin the Wheel of Fortune, it looks like they're really putting some oomph into it. And it's like,
Yeah.
did they tell them to act like they're putting some oomph in it? Like, do they work that, you know?
It's just a railroad spike that they chromed.
Yeah. This is sick. This is sickening, Lance.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm sorry to disillusion you about the Wheel of Fortune. I have to share it because I've been holding. I couldn't talk about it for a really long time, any of the experience, and now spilling any sort of details. I love to do that, so I have to share my disappointment with the wheel.
Hey, I wasn't even there, and I'm disappointed with the wheel now. It's a bummer to me. I really wanted the Wheel of Fortune to be.
We got to put a warning on this.
What?
On this app.
Why?
For the podcast. Let people know hopes and dreams might get.
Yeah. The
thrown
Wheel
in
of
the
Fortune's
garbage.
fucked, But, so you said that you shit the bed on an episode. But overall, obviously the experience kicked ass. And I see you on Twitter, and my friend John was very insulting to you, and I apologize for him for that. And
no, he's fine.
Yeah, what do you think of that bastard?
You don't have to be nice to him. You don't have to be nice to that man. You know what? I was extra mean to him on the last POD cast, in your honor. But and I see that you've retweeted some of the stuff that people have said about you, and so how's it feel to be on TV? I would never search my name. Are people being extra mean to you, or are people pretty cool?
I found that I'm a kind of a big personality, and so generally a lot of people like me, but maybe 20 to 25% of people that I meet find me extremely annoying.
Yeah,
that was about the same ratio online, which was fine. I wouldn't have name searched if I wasn't prepared for some people to say wow, that guy seems way too energetic and he's gonna have a heart attack and he makes weird faces and shit.
Right.
I was expecting that. And, when you have $20,000 waiting for you at the end, it's well, you can't even hurt my feelings, can you?
Yeah. And truly, Jeopardy is the show. There isn't another. You did the top A1 game show. I don't think there's anything bigger or more respected than Jeopardy. So
not Wheel of Fortune anymore, at least.
That's true. Not Wheel of Fortune at all. But that might be
Jeopardy
second place. But even then, people have kind of gotten to the point where they're Wheel of Fortune's, a dumb guy.
I think, man, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is my big one.
But that's not a big one anymore. People aren't going nuts for it.
They should be.
Jimmy Kimmel's hosting it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time since Regis, man. Regis would hype that shit.
Yeah, it went nuts. That's what you got to work on. You got to work on getting on Millionaire now. Because I think you could become a millionaire. If you want $20K on Jeopardy, then it only stands to reason that you would win $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, because Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is easier than Jeopardy.
And Brian can be your lifeline.
I will be your lifeline too. I promise. You can call me about anything.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now, Lance. If I get on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I'll be messaging you to be my lifeline. That's what deal we have now.
Hell yeah.
Between me and you, you're my lifeline, and I'm your lifeline. So if you get it right, that'll be good for me. But I'll probably get it wrong. But well, I want to thank you for calling, and I want to say I'm very impressed, and I was very excited to see that I could get behind the scenes of Jeopardy with you, because I haven't watched game shows in years, but the hype for Jeopardy lately has got me thinking about watching it with the fam. You know, sit down with the family and watch Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Answer questions. I'll look real smart in front of them.
It's fun to shout them out. Even I like to just throw something that you totally biff on. Just say something absolutely wrong. Just first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, before we let you go, did you have to practice answering in the form of a question? Because I think that's what would fuck me up.
Well, I've been trying to get on the show since I was an undergrad, and I took a few years off, so I'm just about 30. But I've been kind of mentally practicing that for years, so that came very naturally. I was more afraid of accidentally cursing when I said something wrong.
Oh, okay.
I lost $1,000.
Wait. You lose $1,000 if you curse?
No.
I know what you said.
That's the Jeopardy. Now that's Jeopardy.
There isn't a Jeopardy swear jar.
Is there? No,
No.
I'm so gullible right now. I'm just talking to somebody that's done something. He's like climbed the mountaintop. Like this is as high as. I mean, this is way higher than anything I'm gonna do.
Oh yeah, it's impressive.
You know?
I mean, he was there.
Yeah, he's there, and people talked about him. You know. Well, let's hope. I mean, you know, maybe now you can get on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here or something too. You know, something like that. Well, Lance,
Is there maybe a Jeopardy con?
Yeah, that would be a. Is there a Jeopardy con? I don't think so. I think the closest thing is that they let me into a Jeopardy Facebook group for former contestants, which is thrilling. I'm sure you can imagine.
no,
Yeah,
I
the
couldn't.
drama in there.
I mean, because look, I've seen your account for a few days now, and I just talked to you. Have you started any shit in there? Because that would be funny.
I have not yet started any shit in there. Most of the people I met there were very nice, but if it turns out to be like full of dweebs and reactionaries, I may just start using shitposting powers in there. Right now, it's very profesh.
But just let me know. Please keep me and Brett posted at least on whether or not there's a good fight in the Jeopardy contestants group. I mean, that's got to be the most privileged of information.
Yeah, it's an elite class. It's better than Mensa.
Consider it done.
Thank you,
I will
Lance.
keep you abreast of any drama.
And give them your Twitter name.
can I,
Lance is a good follow.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can whatever you want.
Oh, okay, yeah. My Twitter handle is at Lance Saint Laurent, because that is my really fake sounding name, but it is really my name. That's LanceStlaurent.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You're welcome to call back anytime. Have a good one.
Yeah, you're great, Lance. Thank you.
All right. All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Oh, that's so funny. The Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
It's the Wheel of not Fortune.
Someone in the chat also said the current winner is another grad student. So there's a real pattern developing here. Like,
Have they had a podcaster as a winner yet?
yeah, you could set that record maybe.
That should be something for me. You know, oh hey, it's a podcaster. He's on.
Yeah.
He's on Jeopardy now.
He does live video on twitchy.com.
Yeah, and then I have to explain what the show
Yeah.
is, which is what I hate doing more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of about work, but it's also like about politics, but it's not like that political, but it is political. And,
Yeah.
you know, then we have call-in shows, but then, yeah, sometimes we'll talk about other stuff. You know,
We watch TV sometimes.
we watch TV on our Patreon. We do miniseries.
We have miniseries.
Did a miniseries about Kid Rock, Shock Jocks, you know. Did 8 episodes about Shock Jocks in a row.
Yeah.
Twice now. So, you know, there's that.
Right.
People are just
They don't
like,
want that,
You
yeah.
don't do nothing.
Yeah.
dude.
That sounds like a whole bunch of nothing.
I was worried that Howard Stern was going to say something about Lance because he talks about Jeopardy almost every day now.
Really?
He's so old.
Is it on every day?
Howard Stern?
No, Jeopardy.
is
It's
on
5 days a
days
week.
I think. Yeah.
People are putting themselves in jeopardy.
Well, they don't do that, though.
But they have to say in a question, so they're like, what if I'm in jeopardy? Is that how you're supposed to ask to get on the show?
I think the name Jeopardy is just like...
I don't want to be in jeopardy, man. It just sounds like a place I don't want to be. I don't know.
I know. I do, though.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Jeopardy.
All right, let's go to the next call here. Oh, this one is a dish of Jenny's ice cream info. Hey,
What?
thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we
hello,
talking to
can you
tonight?
hear me? This is Marisa. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you. What's up?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out listening to you guys. I've been wanting to call for forever. I always end up chickening out, but I'm excited to talk to you about Jenny's and Miss Jenny herself.
Jenny's ice cream, popular with Nancy Pelosi. That's the $10,000 worth of ice cream she had in a $50,000 fridge. Joe Biden also likes to take a picture of his sunglasses right next to a frosty pint of Jenny's ice cream.
Jenny Britton Bauer is her name.
People, when I lived in Texas, there were people who would just buy those pints for like $18, like it wasn't a damn thing at all. They'd get a couple. I'm like, I'm going to be bad tonight and get 3, you know? It's a phenomenon.
Yeah,
It started right here in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, Jenny's is definitely the liberal ice cream flavor or ice cream company. And Jenny herself loves Joe Biden. That is a big thing with her. Her dog is named Joey Biden.
Oh no.
Oh no, what?
Yeah, it's bad. She loves him. She considers him like a personal friend, which is really funny to me because I know that he has no idea who she is.
Sure. Oh yeah.
But yeah, Jenny's really markets itself as like a very responsible company. Our ingredients are ethically sourced. And Jenny's loves to say that they pay us, the employees, a living wage. When I was hired, even in the training videos, Jenny is on there saying that her and the company are so proud that they pay a living wage. And that living wage is about $8 to $10 an hour.
What?
Plus tips.
8 to 10 plus tips?
Yeah.
That's not living wage, actually.
Yeah, and it's
8 to 10 plus tips.
It's also not. I don't think you should be allowed to call tip jars tips. You know what I mean? Because nobody puts real money in a tip jar. By the end of the day, when you get tipped out, you get like $12, $20 if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Also, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. The thing that really sucks too is like with COVID, because we've been doing like a hands-free transaction with the customer. So like, those iPads that they flip over, and when you're done with your transaction, it comes up the little tip page. You like put in the tip you want, and the employee doesn't have to see that. So they don't have to like actually see that you have, chosen to like not tip or tip like 25 cents. Because of how we do things with COVID, we have to ask the customer like, oh, did you want to add a tip on that? So like this summer especially was horrible because like we literally had like they're nicer customers who come in, and it's funny because I feel like in preparing for this I've been like compiling my notes, and it's really kind of reawakened like the fire of anger and hatred I have with this company, because I've made better tips in the last month or two. But during this summer was just the customer situation was miserable, because pretty much like the people who were nicer and more, considerate were not going out to buy ice cream. I feel like they saw that, and, reasonably so, as maybe a non-essential COVID activity, which meant that pretty much the worst people were the ones who were coming in, and every transaction having to ask them, and like knowing that you had to really perform and like do a little song and dance, just in hopes that like when you have to ask them to supplement, your income basically, that maybe they'll be a little considerate and tip a couple bucks on their $5, $6, $7 ice cream, which this summer was definitely not the case.
Yeah, that's.
And meanwhile, Jenny's
is
profiting off of saying that they pay us a living wage, because people come in and they think, this is a responsible company. I put the little B Corp sticker on our hand packed pints, to make, so customers know that, hey, this is a good company. They've got the B Corp sticker on there. Meanwhile, I'm being paid like $8 to $10 an hour.
Yeah, it's not really comparable to like restaurants either, where like if someone's spending $80 on a meal and they tip $20, it's $16. You're talking about $4 ice cream. People aren't very generous with tips on like a $5 scoop of ice cream.
Right.
And you're splitting it with the whole, like you said, you get tipped out at the end, like, oh, there's $48 in there, and you're like, oh wait, there's 6 of us here, so that means that's less than $10 a piece.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe the tip jar was kind of fuller when it wasn't COVID.
Yeah.
Like there's just, people aren't waiting in a lot. People, I know I walked by Jenny's and didn't see long lines standing out there. And it just does seem like it's another one of these businesses like Burgerville that's like they profit off of like cool packaging and just saying that they do things instead of actually doing them. Like, all you have to do is say, we serve organic milk, and people will assume you're paying $15 an hour. Like, this is grass-fed organic milk. Oh, well, then if they treat the cows that well, they sure should treat the employees that well, and then they don't,
Yeah, I mean, and really it is like you said, you have to do a song and dance for it. So, people at fast food are getting paid $8 an hour too, and they're not allowed to get tips. So they're just saying that like a living wage means we let you work for a little extra money. If you can, we'll let you do a song and dance for the customer to earn yourself a nickel.
Asking somebody if they want to leave a tip seems like the worst.
Oh, it's so confrontational. One of my favorite parts about Las Vegas was, before you did every transaction, it said how much are you going to tip, and it wouldn't give you your total until you put that in, and then you got the total next. It was some sort of law or some shit, but it was amazing to me because everybody I was like, they're watching you, and it's already set up, and you have to tip on everything. There's no getting out of it. And I agree. There's a lot of these systems. There's times that I've tried to order online through some of these new carry out systems, and you can't give people tips, or like it resets and the tip gets deleted, and it's and they're not really doing anything to help facilitate that. And if they should be making that as easy as possible for you, if that's the least they're gonna do.
So are the
Yeah, that's
is the management cool there at least? Like, are you getting yelled at by them all the time, or is it pretty grueling work?
No, management is actually really cool. I love my coworkers. I work with great people. I think Jenny's hires great people. They just treat us like shit and just very, very disrespectfully. I mean, my managers are genuinely the most reasonable and like nicest like supervisors I've ever had. Like, I actually, if something goes on in my life and I come in, I'm like, hey, this is going on. They're very understanding. But another thing with Jenny is like they say that they hire internally, and like a lot of these managers, are adults like dedicating their lives to this ice cream company, and with the hope that maybe at some point they get like an even better like desk like salary position, and that's just not gonna happen, which is such a bummer.
There just aren't that many probably within that company. They still run it. It's mostly takes place in Columbus, right? Still, like the manufacturing and all that.
Supposedly, yeah. I'm not quite as informed on that side of things. I do know that Jenny, Miss Jennifer Britton Bauer, is working from home most of the time, and leading a very hard life, which she loves to give great insight to on her Instagram stories.
Oh no!
I know.
Check these out.
Like that Joe Biden town hall when that person said, "My friends are suffering," and he was like, "Yeah, mine too."
Yeah.
Same energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked. You guys are hurting so bad out there. So am I. I feel. I'm eating up about all this. I'm sicker than hell about it.
They do any COVID like pay or bonuses or hero pay or any of that?
Oh God, that would be great, wouldn't it?
That would be. That would have been.
In fact, Jenny on her stories this summer, it's funny. Like me and my coworkers are very obsessed with Jenny. Probably, I mean, definitely to like an unhealthy level. But she really puts so much of her life on her Instagram stories. She's very. There is a cult following of like Jenny as a person.
Yep.
And I mean, I get it. She's very charismatic. She's very interesting. She's definitely one to like. Keeping up with her stories is interesting. But this summer, while me and my coworkers were getting like screamed at by maskless customers, Jenny was on her stories talking about how with COVID going on, and these are historic times, and the ones who are really hard hit by this, they're the founders,
What?
founders of business.
What?
She said, "Listen, check on your founder friends. We are not doing well."
Your founder friends. Get out of here. Get out. Because she doesn't go in. Ever. It's like she just gets on the phone and is like, hey, she writes a cookbook. She works on a cookbook and then gets on the phone every once in a while and says, is the ice cream getting made? All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, also huge operation. It's not like your favorite Chinese restaurant down the corner, anymore. It's a huge operation.
It is. We tend to look at it kind of differently, but it's in every state now.
Yeah.
You can get Jenny's. It's not like a small boutique thing locally. It's not cute. Because I don't really go because I like normal ice cream flavors. I'm a big normal ice cream flavor guy.
Sure.
But I understand why people like it. I did like it for a period of time.
Yeah.
But I would love to see them make a vanilla ice cream sometime. Just really go for it. Make a milkshake, maybe. That's what I want.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
Can you... here's what I need. Can you talk to them... Can you put a request in for me that they make those oatmeal cream pies again? Because those were fucking incredible, and then they stopped making them.
Like the ice cream sandwiches?
Yes. They were the best things ever made.
I know what you're talking about. Those were the bomb. I would also love it if they brought those back. I don't think they are. I feel like they've really kind of, we don't do like Sundays anymore. You brought up milkshakes. We have customers coming in like every single week, like asking for a milkshake. And when I say no, we do not have those, like that's it, they're out.
You know what's funny about that? When I worked at McDonald's, every once in a while, it wasn't every day, but every once in a while, somebody would come to the drive-thru and try to order a hot dog. And I was always like, they've never had hot dogs at McDonald's. Why do you think that McDonald's has a hot dog? Like, people really do like to assume that places have what they want. Like, assuming that Jenny's has a milkshake is a crazy thing to do. Because if you look, there's no milkshake fucking machine, and it's not on the board. But I think that, like, it's just so weird. There was another thing when I was working at McDonald's. They didn't have medium fries. They only had small and super size. And people would go to order a medium fry, and I'd have to be like, we don't have medium fry. And they'd be like, yes, you do. I'm like, look at the menu. It doesn't say medium fry, And I'd be arguing with people about it. So, yeah, I don't know. It really is weird that she won't, like, expand to milkshakes. And I have to think it just has to be because manufacturing them is a pain in the ass. Like, it would be a pain in the ass. The line would move a lot slower, although I would have to venture to say that you have the most annoying customers in the world because they ask for a bite of all the ice creams.
Oh, man. So I've only really been working there for pretty much just about a year now. I started, like, literally just as, like, COVID was just starting. So I missed all of, like, the sampling and stuff, which... It's funny, like, to me it kind of sounds annoying. I mean, I haven't had to do it. I will say, and, don't let this get out. Every once in a while, it's like, we're really slow, and, like, we have one customer in, and they're, like, cute, and they want to try something. And then once in a while, I'll say, okay, you want to try the rainbow buttermilk frozen yogurt, because I have said how good it is. I will give you a little spoonful, but you got to take it outside. But, like, people say it was really, like, the best part of the job. That, like, it was fun interacting with customers on that level. And it's funny because, like, I just saw that. I got straight to, like, just the worst people coming in. And it's funny because I pick up shifts, from the other locations. And I work in the very, like, I work in a location in a very liberal suburb of Columbus that I'm sure you guys know. So, like, I get a lot of, like, the quintessential Jenny's customers, which is funny. Jenny, of course, made a special limited edition flavor for Joe Biden, her best friend, White House chocolate chip, and the people we had, it was very limited. We sold out in like 45 minutes, and that whole like following week and 2 weeks pretty much, we just had like all of these very like the most liberal folks were coming in like we want this ice cream, and like they were so sad when we didn't have it, and like it was weird. I don't know what people thought. Like I think people thought the proceeds were like going to something. They were just going to, like they literally were just going to like Jenny's next kitchen renovation. This was not like, you know, going to the ACLU or anything, but like people were so sad. But if you go to like one of the locations in Dublin or something, people look at you like you are dirt.
Yeah.
You are an ice cream wench, just getting them their stuff and just lower than like the dirt between their toenails.
Yeah, I hate Dublin.
I do too.
Dublin.
Brett wants to bomb Dublin now. He was telling me yesterday.
Well, because all the great stuff in the city, the most successful shit in the city, has now opened a second location out in Dublin. So they've insulated themselves from all of the great stuff from downtown Columbus, so that they just live in like their white supremacist suburbs up there.
True. Well, I appreciate you calling. Is there anything you wanted to plug? I said plung.
I really don't have a whole lot going on in my life, but my partner has a YouTube channel called Adventure Archives. Him, his brother, and their cousin, their channel's been going on for a while. They have a little bit of a following, but for the amount of work they put in their videos, and just the quality, I feel like they deserve a lot more. They go hiking all over, hiking and backpacking. If you like learning about wildflowers and plants and mushrooms, if you want to know about like bushcrafting and stuff, they're a really great YouTube channel. They're all Asian American, so if you're like sick of seeing white people out in the wilderness and maybe want to see some other faces, you know, they have a great camaraderie. They're really fun to watch. They write all their music for their episodes. It's a really fun channel, just like take an edible and like sit back and watch them like talk about nature and stuff. So yeah, please give them a shot.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, thanks for calling in, giving us the scoop, so to speak. You know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Thanks, Brett.
That was perfect. You did my job.
Give us the scoop.
All right. One more, then we hit the door for a break.
Sure.
We got
Maybe
a pretty
two.
full queue here.
Maybe
yeah,
two.
we probably have to bust out two. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? Sorry, did you want to talk about Jenny's?
No.
Hey, is this
She
me?
covered everything. Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
what's up?
It's a me.
Hey, this is yeah, it's not me. This is Sean in Philly. I called in like September talking about Zoom school.
What's up, Sean? How's it going? You back at school full time now? Like Uncle Joe wants to happen?
No, that was what I was gonna call in about. Is twofold things. One was the process by which they told us we were going to go back, and then subsequently, part two is how that has spiked a push for union at our school.
Okay. So how did they tell you?
So it was the Friday before MLK Day, so pre-Brian Day, which also happens to be my birthday, was the 15th. And they emailed us all at 10:15 and said, you have to be on a Zoom meeting at 3 o'clock. So like 5 hours notice. And they said, we've been virtual literally all year. And they were like, hey, we're gonna go back February 1st. You guys are gonna come back February 1st.
Fuck,
So
that was
been
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and it was a 3-day weekend. so it was like 9 business days or something. Like, you will be back in school in 9 business days.
Full
and
time?
then the kids would be back February. No, it would have been part-time, like 2 or 3 days a week.
That doesn't make any...
The kid...
My daughter is in hybrid, part-time school, right? And she goes all 5 days, but for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And I think that makes a lot of sense. That makes perfect sense. I think these schedules where people are going back for fucking 2 days a week, it doesn't even... What does that do? What sense does that fucking make? You know? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I know, you don't want to go back at all. I'm just saying that, like, first of all, I think high school...
No, I get it.
Yeah, I think high school kids shouldn't be back. I think, and I said this at the beginning of the pandemic, but I think there is something to be said for maybe bringing K through 8 back and putting some of them in the high school and spreading them a lot thinner so that there's less people in the classes, and then leaving the high school kids at online because the high school kids can stay home without their parents. And I think that is kind of a solution to please almost everybody. And I also just think, just wait till April, you know? Don't just go back in April when you can open the fucking windows, you know, or do some stuff outside.
Yeah.
That is a way that I could see going back to school during this pandemic, and not, I think the teachers would probably be happier with that. And I think the students and the parents would probably be happier with that. And like, the ways they've chosen to do it have been ways which make nobody happy.
Yeah.
No, but literally no one. The worst of every possible world put together.
And
it's
did they
getting grimmer every time they have to do something.
What?
Their response is grimmer and grimmer every time. You're like, oh no, we're sliding into this.
Well, so I was telling you guys that my cousin, or my niece, got COVID. And she called the school on the day after she tested for COVID and said, I'm COVID positive. And they said, we'll see you in 10 days. So I had to isolate from Brett because I didn't want to bring COVID into Brett's house. So I did a little bit of fucking research. And I didn't come in contact with it. My daughter didn't have it. We got her tested. Everybody was fine. But we still said, like, let's wait 10 days and see what happens. And then we'll get back into the same room. So when the 10 days was up, I said, I'm going to go ahead and read what the CDC guidelines are on something like this, right? And it said 10 days after the last symptoms. And her school is just 10 days after you test. You know, you can come back to school. So they're literally making people come back to school with COVID. Because they give you your date that you have to be back. Is the thing. They don't just say come back when you're better. They say, okay, we'll see you in 10 days. And they give you your date.
Yeah. And to, like, related to that, basically our school had no solid plan to come back. There was no, like, contact tracer. There was no, like, where are the kids going to eat? There was no, like, where are you going to be on your breaks? Like, there was basically nothing. And we wrote them a letter. We were like, hey, you can't do this. This sucks. And we had the worst Zoom meeting of all time. And actually the best from my perspective, because, like, I had been losing sleep over this. And, like, 50 of my colleagues just dunked on our leadership team to just be like, no, this is an awful plan. You have no plan. There is no plan here. Like, you guys are just making stuff up because you want kids back in your shiny new building. And also they had promised us, like, oh, we'll talk with you about safety. Like, when we're starting to go back and think about going back, like, we'll get the teachers involved. Absolutely. And our leadership team had no teachers on. And they were just like, yeah, we're just going to go back.
Yeah. Because they can make you go back. That's the fucking thing, is that, like, they can make you go back. So it doesn't necessarily matter to them what you think is safe. And I think they also have in their minds, and I can't speak for them, but they have in their minds, well, we're going to move the teachers up in the vaccine line so they can go get the vaccine. And then the teachers will stop complaining. You know what I mean? Because they'll have the vaccine.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like, have you considered, like, parents worried about catching it? Because the truth is, you can still transmit it when you get the vaccine. You can still get it when you get the vaccine. You just don't get deathly ill. You might not even get sick. You probably have an asymptomatic case. And if say you got COVID after you got the vaccine and then gave it to one of your students, and the student was also asymptomatic, because kids tend to have lighter cases of it and are asymptomatic, then they could bring that home to whoever they live with.
Yeah.
And that
Which could not just be parents, but could be multi-generational too. Like, it could be a grandparent or an older aunt or uncle too. Like,
right, and
you're putting bunches of people at risk.
And nobody talks about that. I just saw, like, the second tweet that I've seen about this at all. Like, Joe Biden is just like, we got to get you back. And he's not mentioning any of this stuff. And I know he did that town hall and he told some kid, don't worry, you're not going to get COVID. Kids don't get COVID. And it's like...
Yeah, that's what they think. But also, I mean, there is digital options. I think that we are kind of in a situation where parents are forced to go to work and they don't have anything to do. They can't do anything with their kids anymore. But full digital is certainly more available now these days. But I can understand teachers.
And it's more like, and it's more like now it's more of an option for folks because of this.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm more of the hand out enough money to shut down 90% of the economy for like the next 2 months, and then come back in April when, I mean, I don't know, they've just ignored any science. They're just so rushed to look good, and they don't have a plan that's based in like, let's shut things down. Let's flatten this fucking curve right now. Let's vaccinate teachers and let's go back in the spring when we can open windows and shit. I don't know. I don't know anything though.
Yeah,
I do podcasts.
I'm right there with you, but
So what ended up happening after the meeting?
So they pushed it back. So the kids aren't starting until March 8th now. So a good amount of people are starting to get vaccines. Obviously, it's not perfect, as you know. But at least we're not in front. Like, I have to go in tomorrow and to just get into a routine of coming in on Mondays and whatever else. And I'm not. There's no kids there. I'm just in front of my laptop at school instead of in my room. So it's better. But it's also kind of like why I could still just be doing this in my room, but whatever.
Yeah.
But the big thing I want to plug here at the end is if anyone has, if any Street Fight listeners have any experience in organizing private schools, like we are just a one school faculty, so it's a little harder for us to organize, but it's also easier because we don't have that many things to balance. Mm-hmm. And this, I had been looking to organize our school last year, and one of the last normal things I did pre-lockdown was meet with a union rep who could help us. And then 4 days later, the lockdown started, and we were and it was me at home with an infant son being I don't have time to do this right now. But once administration pissed everyone off enough, I got to talk to more people and be like, hey, is this union? Is that good? Would you like that? Can we do that? But I've never done it. I have no experience in organizing. I'm just I think earlier, the caller saying oh, just talk about work. Yeah, that's working. But at some point we need to turn up the, not professionalism, but just the experience on it.
Yeah. So where can they contact you?
So I'll just plug my Twitter and my Instagram are the same. It's Sean, Sean, P as in Patrick, last name. So Sean P, last name on Twitter and Instagram. Brett, I sent you the touching fish article as well.
Oh, yes.
You guys, that I heard you
We're going to be talking about that probably this week.
I'm excited about that. That was cool to see and be like, yeah, that sounds pretty street fight.
Touching fish. I'm excited to learn a little bit. And thanks for calling. Good luck with going back to school. I know it's stressful.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. And shout out solidarity to all the street fight teachers and grad students and everyone involved in education listening. So
Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. You're welcome. A lot of teachers today.
Yeah, a lot of
Take
teacher, a lot of teacher stuff.
Who's next?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate. I mean, I don't think that. I think that we shouldn't be putting people at risk, but you know, I do appreciate the concerns of people's kids that are like really fucking getting fucked up because they're around other kids, you know, and hate being home all day. But then there's also this dumbass thing where it's like, it just comes off so racist. It's like the Joe Biden thing where he was saying black people don't know how to use the internet. That's why they can't get health care, you know? It comes off the same way where they're like, these black and brown students have to be at school. Their home lives are horrible. It comes off as this racist thing like that they just live in the worst conditions imaginable. It just fucking bugs the shit out of me to see these people talk about them like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the people in the PTA groups and shit, the concerned moms that are going in. That's what they're leveraging. It's annoying to me.
Yeah. They make it hard to argue with them because you're like, well, they're just going to call me racist in the end.
Yeah.
So it's pointless.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Might as well not.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is Jonathan.
Hey, what's up, Jonathan?
Hey, so I called in a couple months ago, actually, about my ice cream horror story working at the ice cream shop. So solidarity to that previous caller there, works for Jenny's.
Yeah?
I feel her pain. But
Yeah.
anyway, I just wanted to call tonight. I was inspired by Brian Day to take actually a whole week off for my birthday, which is coming up this coming
Young
week.
shit, young people
I
shit.
should have done that. I should have done it, but I didn't. I chickened out. I did take... Nope, didn't take any days off for my birthday.
Yeah, before I had a kid and
Yeah.
a mortgage, me and my wife would spend like the whole week. Like I'd go abduct her from work and take her immediately to a park, and we'd get ice cream, or we'd go see a movies. Like we would really milk a whole week's worth of activities out of it.
Right. Of course, I'm not young. I'm going to be 41.
All
so.
right.
And I've
Even
got
better.
a couple kids and stuff, but
I'm with you,
yeah.
though.
But the thing is because I don't go anywhere, so you know I work from home and everything. So I figured, you know, birthdays. I usually try to take my birthday off, but it's on a Wednesday, so I figured, what the hell? I'll take the whole week off.
That's awesome.
Never a
I'm all
reason to
for
take
it.
a
But,
Wednesday off. Never just a reason to just take a
exactly.
Wednesday off. That's pointless. Nobody does that. Nobody. I remember they used to be like, hey, you got to use up your days by the end of the year. You'll lose them. And then you would look at the calendar and all that was open is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And you're just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, because then I'd just be spending the whole day just thinking about how I have to go back to work the next day, and it'd be kind of ruined for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, what I wanted to call in tonight, I've been actually wanting to call in about this for a while, is I have a pretty good boss story that I think you guys are going to like.
Okay.
Okay.
So this was a few years ago. This would have been like this all happened 6 years ago. I was working at the time. I was working in office. I was working for basically the marketing division of a manufacturing company,
Okay.
and it was a pretty small department. There were maybe like 10 of us in there, and
So you're like Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like so
Oh, no,
marketing
you go ahead.
marketing like business to business or like business to consumer.
Mostly business to business.
Okay.
And so I was like the guy doing the online stuff, like email newsletters, updating the website, just doing stuff like that. It was really, and the thing is, like, it was a pretty easy job. But anyway, the guy who hired me, so he was the guy who hired me, and they created the position, so I was the first person to do it. He was, he's a pretty terrible guy to work for. He was it was a very, like, dude culture, so he definitely did not respect women very much. Racist, homophobic, you name it. This guy was just, like, real shitty. And he kind of, like, so one thing I noticed as time went on is, like, all the women I was working with were leaving. And I think it was because of him. There were ones that had been there for a while. And he was, I think he kind of got to the point where he realized I wasn't in on his kind of, like, I wasn't part of, like, the dudes club, so he didn't really like me. And he would take me, like, so basically he just kind of started, like, taking me aside and like accusing me of just kind of, like, screwing around and not working very hard, and being like, I got my eye on you, even though I was doing my job, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that to other people too. So there were some other women who joined. He kind of pulled the same thing with them, and he was, basically kind of singling people out, bullying people, pitting people against each other. Just a real shitty guy. And it was weird. He was, like, the kind of boss that was kind of, instead of wanting to have employees that, realizing that, like, hey, having good employees makes you look good, he was, like, afraid his people would kind of, like, outshine him, which doesn't make any sense. Because to me, it's like, if you have good people working for you, then that just, like, reflects well on you as a boss,
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll just kind of jump ahead. So what happened was we were having we were kind of having problems. So a few of us had gone to HR, and we were kind of escalating things, and that was the kind of thing where they started. This company was very very good to their managers, like, very, very, like, took the side of their managers on things. So, the HR started doing things like, oh, we're going to coach this guy. So instead of, like, disciplining him or anything, they sent him to coaching. And then we all had to go to these, like, coaching, almost like group therapy sessions together as a group. And you can imagine what that was like, you know?
Yeah, nobody gets paid enough to do that at your office. Maybe if you're making six figures, I would do that at my job, but you don't get that much of me.
Yeah, I would have to be making.
Yeah.
I mean, did you have, what kind of stuff do they talk about in group therapy at
Well,
work?
it was kind of like, well, this is what you guys need to do to just kind of get along with each other. Everybody's got, like, different styles and everything. And it was mainly like, well, no, this guy's just a stupid asshole who's incompetent and, incapable of being a good manager. This guy sucks, but they didn't want to address that. It was more like, oh, let's just all try to get along and be friends. It was really weird. And so things got a little better for a while, but kind of, went back to being kind of shitty. So needless to say, it didn't work. So kind of what happened a little while after that. So one of the things that we would do is we would go to trade shows and everything. And so he had actually traveled to Las Vegas for a trade show. And so he was out of the office. So one night, I'm on my phone.
By the way, he probably went nuts in Vegas. Vegas is dude culture there is nothing more dude culture than that city, I don't think.
Yes. Well, we're getting there. It's the kind of place he likes. So anyway, it's like late one night, probably 11 p.m. I'm just hanging out, drinking a beer, and I get I hear my phone go ding, I get a text, and I see it's from my boss. I pick it up. I look at my phone. It's a dick pic.
What?
From your boss? He sent you a dick pic?
From my boss, yes.
Accidentally?
Yes.
Was it an accident, or was
Yes.
he just like, fuck this guy, man, here's my dick?
No.
That's, I mean, that is a, I mean, because, like, I can guarantee you if I was on the trajectory that I was on before I sort of radicalized, I would have sent somebody a picture of, like, my asshole to be, like, you know, grab assing with my buds. You know what I mean? But, like,
But, you know,
but your
the
dick is a wild
boss-employee
thing.
relationship's a little different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, I've had bosses that goof off with me, for sure. And like bosses that totally cross lines. I don't think I've ever told this story, but my supervisor at the cable company found out that I was podcasting. But it was like podcasting for nobody, right? This was a podcast before me and Brett even met. He finds out I'm podcasting.
Oh, okay.
He says, what kind of show are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I do a comedy show. I like to do comedy. I've thought about doing stand-up in my life. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. You know, I gotta, you know, he got real excited thinking about me doing stand-up comedy, like that he would, like, know a stand-up comedian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, because I was the same way when I met a stand-up comedian the first time, and I was like, oh my god, I know one, you know, that does it, right? So, like, he got really excited, and he walked outside with me one. This motherfucker talked to me maybe twice a week, and it was to yell at me about shit. He walks outside, he puts his arm around me, and he tells me a racist joke. Not like sly racism, like just straight up a racist joke. And I was just like, he's my boss. And you know what I did? I just went, oh, yeah. And walked away. Because I didn't know what the fuck, what do you even fucking do? You know, oh, I'm going to go to HR and say, Matt put his arm around me and told me a racist joke? Like, what are they going to do? Then they're going to go get Matt, and Matt's going to be like, I can't believe Brian snitched on me for, I was just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're talking about like 2005, 2006. You know what I mean? So it was like those things were a little more acceptable back then.
Elbow room.
Yeah, there was elbow room.
Right.
That's exactly it. You were like allowed to tell a racist joke and then just be like, but I'm not like really racist. Like people would just assume you weren't racist.
Yeah.
You know? But sorry, I didn't
say, I was just kidding.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
mean,
no, that's
I didn't mean to
that's
cut
a
you
good-
off. It just
No.
is like I could see what I'm saying is like I could see a boss sending you a picture of his dick thinking it was like a funny joke to send one of his employees a picture of his dick and like not really considering that like it might be offensive, like just not even thinking about it, you know?
Right.
I had a dude,
Well,
I got a guy hired at the call center I worked at, and he was fucking looking at porno at work. At a desk. It wasn't like they had monitoring software.
crazy.
Yeah, they had monitoring software. We didn't have cubicles. You like weren't alone. There was somebody sitting right next to you, and he got fired for watching porno at his desk. They fucking told me. Because they were like, I can't believe you got this guy hired and he's watching porn at his desk. He was a tech support worker too. Like, should have known you can't do that. Like, they can catch you. So, I mean, people have a really weird idea of how they can act when they have some feeling of camaraderie at the workplace. And it sounds like this guy felt like he had some kind of feeling of camaraderie with people because they would joke around about dude bro stuff, you know?
Well, no, but you see, by this point, though, he knew I wasn't like that.
Okay.
He that's why he would kind of try to almost like bully me for it because I wasn't one of the bros who he could do that for. And he had known that I had already gone to HR about him. Like the whole like coaching thing was basically initiated by a couple of visits I had to make to HR. So he definitely did not intentionally send this to me. So anyway, what happened was I got it, and I'm like, at first I felt kind of freaked out. I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck, like this is weird. And then I walked away and I went back to my phone, and on the phone, I'll never forget it. There was a text. The text said, recall, rescind. Like he tried to recall the
rescind. Text. I rescind this text. I rescind this. This does not count. I meant
strike it from the record.
I just picture him like yeah. I could just picture him like they're yelling, Siri, recall, rescind, like realizing what he'd done. Because what I think was he had meant to send a dick pic, but it was like to the contact next to me in his contact.
Absolutely. He was trying to send it to maybe even somebody that asked for it, but it got to you.
Yeah.
Just imagine
Exactly.
Just imagine the sense of power you would feel when you received it, if you just responded and said, what's this? Like, just how much power. Because what would go through his mind? What would go through this guy's mind if you just said, what is this? He would be like, oh my God, he's pissed. He's mad at me. He's going to go to HR. You know what I mean? Like, if you made him explain it,
Yeah, so I didn't do that. I was just like, then I just thought, I'm like, well, this is my golden ticket. So the next thing I did, I don't remember what day, like when he was, how many days it was. I know he didn't come back to the office for a couple more days after this. But what I did was I called, I just talked to a guy I know who's a lawyer and just said, hey, so what's this, this is what happened. What do you think I should do? And I forget exactly what he said to me, but I called HR the next day. I got in touch with them first thing in the morning. I'm like, yeah, this happened, and I think we need to talk about this. And then they said, okay, they said, okay, blah, 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 send us the picture. And I said, okay, well, how do you want me to do that?
That's I feel a setup.
Weird just sending you a picture.
That's a setup for
now. They're just trying to look at the guy's hog now. That's all they want.
They're like,
I mean, that's what I would say too. I would be like, yeah.
No way. Let me see it.
Send me the picture. I need to know how big his hog is, just because I work so closely with him. And I need to know. If there's a way that I can know a guy's hog size in my office, then of course I want to.
Yeah. We have 90% of the map unlocked for most people, but that 10% area is who knows.
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot. We know what an ass looks like.
Yeah.
We know what his chest and his legs look like. We have no idea. He wears slacks. You can't see the outline.
Yeah.
I have been looking and haven't been able to figure out a size. This had to be his maximum size. Really getting just getting in detail with the HR person. Well, it's decent. I gotta tell you, you wouldn't believe it.
Can you describe it?
Yeah. You wouldn't believe it. It's not too bad. I don't like the guy personally, but he's packing. Sorry.
He's doing all right. Yeah. So, so actually, and I forgot about in between, so there was some time in between them. What I had done before I went to HR is I actually had, emailed his coach and being like, his coach, who was trying to coach on being a better boss, being like, this guy sent me a dick pic. What should I do? And I think she said go to HR. So anyway, when he was back in the office, it was that morning, I had gotten in touch with them. I had sent them the picture of the dick pic that he had sent me. I'd sent it to them through the work email, which, like I said, was really weird. And then I scheduled they wanted to talk to me later that day. So I met with them, and the first thing I go in and I talk to the HR manager, and I said, and she's like, okay, what happened? I said, well, blah, blah, blah. I told her the story, and I said, and I've spoken with a lawyer, and she's
Smart.
like, okay. And that was, again, I wasn't like, I didn't have a lawyer. It was a guy I knew who was a lawyer.
Right.
And those were the magic words.
Oh, yeah.
So
those are big words.
Yeah. So I remember, I want to say this was like shortly before lunch. And later on, I think he had gotten back from lunch, and then he kind of just disappeared. And I was in like a conference room. I figured, there must be talking to him. And I was in a conference room, and the last thing I saw was him just being like let out by his manager and his boss and the HR manager, him like walking out to his truck. You know, I don't remember if they were with him, but him just kind of doing a walk of shame out to his truck is the last time. And then his manager came in and just said, yeah, we had to let him go, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you can't keep him.
I have to say,
that
was a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine if the guy's a dick to you, you know,
and
literally sent you his dick, I would have probably had to. I mean, if it happened to this version of me, I would have probably been like, "Hey, you know, that you sent me your dick." You know what I mean? Like, go to the guy and be like, "You sent me your dick. Can we just be like, can you be normal to me from now on?" You know. Like, as a way, but going to HR is also like, I mean, you got to.
Yeah, I mean,
I had the card and I had to play it. Yeah. I had the card and I had to play it. That's the way I look at it, you know? Yeah. I mean, he was making my life hell, and they weren't going to get rid of him any other way.
True. Yeah. True, yeah.
Yeah, if I had to play it at this age, I would say I have evidence that will make you lose your job. If you want to keep your life intact, you will pay me $100 per paycheck for the continuation.
This motherfucker took you for blackmail. You probably would do that too. Just real freak.
Yeah.
I don't think this version of Brett would, but the version of Brett before Street Fight would have definitely been like, you pay me $100 every paycheck, and I won't let anybody know about it. I'm just like a big, like, I probably, it depends. You're right, because if the boss that was my boss when I quit at the cable company or the camera store, if he had done that to me, I might have just gotten him fired because he is a prick, you know, and he pissed me off. Yeah. But if it was a boss that I had like a semi decent relationship with, I would have just.
Oh, totally.
I mean, no, that's a life lesson. I mean, if you treat people with kindness and respect, if you accidentally dick pick them, they're going to forgive you more quickly. You know,
seriously, that's exactly, and I told people that afterwards. I remember being like, you know, it was the kind of thing like I think if my boss did, you know, that my current boss that I get along with well, if they did that to me, I'd be like, oh, hey, sorry, that's embarrassing. I probably wouldn't even say anything. I would just assume that I would not make a big deal of it.
I would still respond with, what's this? What's this would be devastating to see after you sent a text you weren't supposed to say.
Yeah.
I've talked about this story.
Exactly.
I've talked about this story on Shocktober before, but when Opie and Anthony were still on the air, there was this instance where Anthony was sending a text to Jim Norton that said, the cunt won't even look at me, and it was about Opie, right? And then after he hit send, he looked at his phone, and he had sent it to Opie.
Oh, no.
And then on the air, they didn't fight on the air, but Opie said, oh, what the heck? You can, like, listen to him getting the text, and then being like, what the hell is this? Man. And then Anthony said at the end of the show, he tried to say, like, no, I meant to say, that was about Jim. I was telling you that about Jim Norton.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? I was talking behind somebody else's back.
Yeah. No, we're good pals. I was trying to talk trash like we always do.
We haven't talked to each other for 9 years, but, you know, but that story always, like, that story was the story I heard, and this story is another good lesson, is just like, hey, look at who you're sending the text to, because you do not want to send the wrong text to the wrong. It's even just embarrassing when you send the wrong text, like, hey, I love you, sweetie, if I send that to you.
Yeah.
You know, that's even embarrassing. But, I mean, that guy, he could have been, he was probably drunk as a fucking skunk, man.
I think he was, I mean, that's the thing. I think he was drunk, And I had actually asked some people who'd been around him that night. They just said like he looked like he had seen a ghost or something. You could tell he was very shook. Like he knew it was like over when he did that.
Yeah.
Like and it was the thing is too is like one of the guys that I worked with who was in the department, they were really friendly, and he was kind of a dick to me, being like, "Oh man, you like ruined this guy's life, blah blah blah." I'm like, fuck that, this guy did it to himself. Because again, it goes back to the whole thing, like, if you're not a dick, people will cut you some slack. And then just looking back on it, I think the funniest thing was I always thought like, wow, if this guy was going to get fired, it was going to be for like sexually harassing one of the women we work with, not me.
Yeah. I don't think you ruined the guy's life.
That's kind of the irony.
I also don't think you like ruined the guy's life. Just getting fired does not ruin your life. People often think that getting fired will ruin your life, but I mean, it sucks. But I've been fired several times, and I'm still ticking,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in. That's a great story.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to it, and you guys are awesome. I look forward to listening every week, so keep it up.
Oh, thanks.
We appreciate it.
Night.
Yeah.
Break time.
All right. Take care.
Time to take a break. That went on. I got to use the restroom. I got to get some new drinks. I got to get one of several different drinks. This week in Street Fight Music, if you have a band that you're in and you want us to play your music on the show, you can send an email to streetfightradio@gmail.com, or you can message us on any of the social media platforms. Besides Twitch and YouTube, I don't check those messages ever. Also, the contact page on the website is a little dicey, but I'm trying to clean it up. So streetfightradio@gmail.com is the best place. This week we have The Glorious Shocking. You can find what they do at thegloriousshocking.bandcamp.com. It says, "Greeting, my name is Mitch Jones, and I'd like to submit some music for you to play on your call-in shows. My project is called The Glorious Shocking. It's experimental psychedelic folk. I'd suggest the first song from my last album entitled Mitch's Witches. Well, you'll get what we play. If you need something a little shorter, all right. I'm a historian of American socialism." So many nerd birds, so many college people on here. It's smart people listening to dumbasses. "I'm a historian of American socialism, and I recently joined the Midwest Marks website as a writer. I also have an upcoming article in the Columnal Societal's Journal on the Scaniatales community, a utopian project that lasted from 1844 to 46 in Western New York. It's a short version of my thesis." All right, which you can read at Digital Commons. So I'll share those links elsewhere. Thanks for sending that in and doing cool stuff. You're leading a way more interesting existence than I am. We'll be back in like 5 to 10 minutes for Street Fight.
And in a wood at midnight, on the night of the full moon, Serene Saliente carried out her ritual, hoping that in this experiment, never before tried about her canvas, some psychic manifestations might appear on the flame.
Nobody knew when we were down that we would come back up again, come back up again, come back. The devil's soul was in the ground. The devil's drink, we passed it round and round around. I was a boy in the war. We did the fire drills, till the devil's pause and angels love until it comes back up again, comes back up again, comes back up again. Patrol, swinging a knife that I had on that night. I saw a card. I tannis root, drank the tannis root, made the sacred mistake. The garden snake. I'll find a love for you, find a love for you, find a match you can make. That night, swinging a knife that I had on that night, I saw a card. I hid in the hedgerow till it went out of sight. I gave my love to the neighbors in ecstatic naked delight. I broke my vow to answer the higher calling, calling me now that he knew when we were down that we would come back up again, come back up again, come the back devil's soul was in the ground. The devil's drink, we passed it round and proud around. I was a boy in the war. We did the fire drills, did the fire drill. A devil's paw, an angel's love, until it comes back up again, comes back up again, comes back up again. Patrol that night, swinging a knife that I had on that night, I saw a card. I hid in the hedgerow till it went out of sight. I gave my love to the neighbors in ecstatic naked delight. I broke my vow to answer the higher calling, calling me that night. Nobody knew, but we saw when they would pump the blood from them, pump the blood from them, pump the blood from them. Richie who's Turkish delight. My friends pop the poppies, they pop the poppies, they pop the poppies and Ben Sage and Mandrake. They drank the tannis root, drank the tannis root, and made the sacred mistake. The garden snake. I'll find a love for you, find a love for you, find a match you can make. That night, swinging a knife that I had on that night, I saw a card. I hid in the hedgerow till it went out of sight. I gave my love to the neighbors in ecstatic naked delight. I broke my vow to answer the higher calling, calling me that night.
Diana of the rounded moon, the queen of all enchantments here. The wind is sighing through the trees, and we invoke thee to appear. Well, difficult to get the spirit of the old ritual, knowing that you were surrounded by cameras and technicians and things like that. But when the ritual was almost completed, I began to feel the atmosphere building up, and I think other people did too. This is what the ritual really means. It isn't conjuring up a sort of pantomime being or anything like that. It is something that affects your inner mind and works its way late in your life when you are feeling impulsed. To the old ones, very neat, very fast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Street Fight Radio. Thanks for tuning in. We are doing the call-in show. We've got enough people in the queue to round out the night. We take calls every single Sunday from 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. You can find the replays if you want to watch along. That's on YouTube or Twitch. Or you can listen to it as a podcast, as most people do. And if you want to support the show and get more content, even more episodes and videos that we do, head to patreon.com/streetfightradio. You can also buy our premium audio series at store.streetfightradio.com. We just put Buttfest 2000 in the store, so that's available for $5. You can listen to the whole series without signing up for Patreon if that's a better situation, but we appreciate all y'all that put the money down for that monthly subscription. It keeps this whole thing going. It means a lot. You ready to take more calls?
Yeah.
I'm going to answer the call. I have to get my waters. I left them over there. But I'm going to answer this call, and then I'll be back. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hello.
Hey, hello, who's this?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up? Who's this?
This is Will.
What's up, Will? What's going on tonight?
Not much. I just had a shitty cop story I wanted to tell.
Let's hear it. What happened? I don't like... shitty cop stories are scary.
No, this is just kind of a funny one.
Okay.
So I'm in Houston right now, and today I went to a mutual aid thing organized by the Houston DSA and some other people. Okay. And at one point, one of our local elected officials showed up, and he brought a bunch of cops with him, like 7 or 8 cops. And the cops stuck around for 4 hours and didn't help at all.
Okay. So, like, what were you guys doing exactly?
Oh, so yeah, we were passing out like food and water and stuff to people who still don't have like lights or heat and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking awful.
And the cop is just standing there staring at you?
Yeah, like 5 or 6 cops for about 4 hours, just kind of hung out, playing on their phones, watching everybody like load just like 1,000 gallons of water into people's cars. We had just like tables and tables of canned goods and stuff. We're passing it out. And yeah, they didn't lift a finger for 4 hours.
They probably didn't want people to think they were socialists. They got like nervous.
Yeah.
No, they're going to think we're with the DSA. No way.
Yeah, just some dudes hanging out, having a good time.
Oh, I hate the police so much. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine they're not going to be helpful in the situation you're in down in Houston. I hope you're okay. Is everything, I mean, do you have power and everything?
Yeah, I got really lucky this time, and we kept power most of the time. We only lost it for about an hour at one point, so very lucky on my end.
How's your electric bill?
There are still...
We're seeing those very high electric bills, too.
Yeah, luckily we weren't on one of those, like, ours is just a fixed rate. Those are, like, these weird plans where you're, like, tied to the market rate for the day or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
But it seems like a bad idea from what I've seen.
It's weird.
Yeah, because I'm seeing, right before I got here, I got a story, I got a push notification from the New York Times that said, people are getting $17,000 electric bills, and I'm like, I don't even know how you begin to deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, they're just going to have to cancel them, hopefully.
Yeah.
But they won't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what they'll probably do is the federal government will come in and pay a certain amount of them and get them down to like your normal monthly bill. You know, it's probably the thing.
Yeah.
So the power company still wins in the end. So,
yeah, they'll get paid.
Yeah, they're still going to get paid. But I would hope, because I was reading a story about a guy like cashing in his 401k to pay his electric bill, and I'm like, I would hold off on all that. I would just wait and see what happens, because they can't expect a regular person to have $17,000 to pay an electric bill. There's just no way, you know.
Yeah.
But you're okay. Everything's good in Houston. Is the weather better? Is it warm?
Oh yeah, it was 70 degrees today. It was bizarre. Everybody was in shorts.
So that sounds so good. Sounds so good. Although I keep seeing people like, hey, it's 65 degrees now, still freezing, but it's it's better. But there are
a lot of apartments that still don't have water.
Yeah,
they're like main line burst, and so it's going to take like big repairs before just like entire apartment complexes full of people have running water again.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt for the people in Texas, because people from other parts of the country were total pricks about it. You know, whether it's a red state and they deserve it, or it's like, oh, it's 18 degrees here too, and it's like they can't deal with it though. It's different. We can't deal with their summer. Okay, like it's impossible for me to deal with a Texas summer the same way it gotta be tough when it's 18 degrees for people who grew up in Texas. Who, fuck, dude, I never left Columbus very much until I got in my late 30s, and I got to assume there's a lot of people in Texas who have never left and are just used to it always being at least like 50 or 60, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody, like most people here don't know how to layer. You know, they don't have like a heavy winter coat, just like windbreakers and stuff.
Yeah. When
the power was out for like 36 hours, people were really screwed.
I was like, there aren't a lot of people in Texas that have like leggings, like base layer there. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we're very prepared for this because we know it's going to happen. They didn't know it was going to happen. They didn't have time to go prepare for. And why would you fucking prepare? It's like Brett's snow pants, right? It's like, if I live in Texas, why would I go buy a winter coat? Like, what would even be the reason for that? You know? Well, I'm glad everything's better. And of course, as always, fuck the police. And is there anything we can send our listeners toward for mutual aid or anything?
There's a Twitter account. It's Mutual Aid HOU, and they're also on Venmo and Cash App.
All right, cool. And hey, good job volunteering to help out. That's really cool of you. And thanks for calling in.
All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, have a good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt for the Texas people. All I kept thinking about is you, Brett, who you moved there and you're like, it's always warm here. It's fantastic. And then you having to deal with that.
Yeah. It did snow when I was there, like a quarter of an inch for like 3 hours. One time.
Yeah, people were probably outside like, wow.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about people who have never left, that have never like actually stood in the snow, you know? And it snowed several inches for them. I saw a guy build a fucking igloo in his front yard. It takes a lot of snow to do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
Next call?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Who's this?
This is Luke. I'm in New England.
What's up, Luke? How's it going? It's always cold there, so, you know. I still feel for you, though.
Yeah, we're used to it. I mean, we occasionally have to go to a vacant parking lot and do some donuts and figure out how to spin out again.
Yeah, yeah. So what's going on?
Well, I'm calling you about a small business tyrant that I've worked for 15 years.
What kind of
maybe
work?
longer.
What kind of work?
It's tile work.
Tile work. Okay. And so
I'm doing like I'm like doing bathrooms, remodels. It's sort of a dude who's like a jack of all trades guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Knows how to build.
Yeah. So basically, I've worked with him for a long time, and it's the sort of situation where there's there's no lunches, there's no schedule. If I ask for any information on the rest of the week, it's like, do you need some time off, sort of thing.
Okay.
There's no breaks, there's no benefits. It's under the table, and I have a question for you guys. Is this better for him or for me?
I don't know. Is it a lot of money under the table?
This is one of the things where I really can't bitch. I really make fairly good money.
Well, I mean, enough to put up with all of that. I mean, I couldn't imagine Brian doing more than 2 days of that. Maybe just one.
what?
Just you work, you don't get a break, you don't get a lunch. You know, just figure it out and don't ask about tomorrow.
They're like, don't ask about tomorrow. I would have panic attack every day. Every single day of my life would be a panic attack, which it is kind of now. But I would definitely have a freak out. I mean, I guess like it depends on the lifestyle you live, right? Where it's like, if you're saving money, which you're listening to Street Fight, so it's a crapshoot on whether you're saving money at all. I mean, who knows? But if you're saving money and you can handle taking the day off, like having some time between jobs, that might be good. But it is kind of a disadvantage in that, like, you can't file for unemployment if you're working under the table. So if the day comes where the guy's like, hey, I can't pay you, that puts you in a really tough position. But it also sounds like you're doing work that is useful, that you might be able to get something that isn't paying under the table, you know, something a little more stable. Because you have a skill.
Well, you've certainly brought up a couple of things that I feel like I should mention. Like I said, I've been working with this gentleman for 15 to potentially 17, maybe even 20 years. There was a couple of years where I didn't work with him, but I've been working with him since 2005.
Okay.
So basically, I've been working with this guy, and I've sort of started to yell and scream, in a sense, about my rights, and I'm apparently useful enough to where I've sort of unionized for myself. I only work with one guy, so it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But I've started to sort of understand my value and call him out on things, and I have really managed to change my work environment for myself, which, I mean, I understand it's a privileged position to be in, but I mean, it's great to have made a change for myself, but it's still a stress every day when I go in. One of the reasons that I brought all of this up, though, is that he is like the perfect nexus point of Street Fight and a small business tyrant, in that I go into work every day and I listen to Fox News, and then he puts on fucking Disturbed and Teether and fucking, just any butt rock you could think of, Theory of a Dead Man.
You're working with a total badass.
Fucking hilarious. And I'm painting trim listening to you guys talk about your shit while Theory of a Dead Man is playing in the background, and I'm just like chuckling to myself. This is fucking hilarious.
I gotta tell you though, Theory of a Dead Man is the worst band I've ever heard. I have made the decision that they're the worst band I've ever heard. So I do feel for you on that. Sounds like the guy's kind of a badass. It also sounds like, though, to me, and this is just something that, like, I'm thinking about, is that, like, is it possible to maybe agitate is probably the wrong word, but is it possible to maybe get him to put you on the books or give you a commitment that you're always, you know what I mean? Like maybe even just some notice if the work's going to go away. You know, do you think he would give you notice if he thought that you weren't going to have work to do?
All right. That's a very apt question. The point is that I have worked for him for so long that at one point I was 1099, like a subcontractor, and I'm still living with the debt of that with the IRS. And so he took me back in knowing that, and basically is just paying me cash under the table. And there's been times where he sort of talked to me like that was sort of a point against him, like, sorry that he's doing me a favor, but I really felt like that mostly helps him. This is one of the questions I had for y'all.
It might not, though.
It doesn't. I mean, we have 1099 people, and they take the hit on the taxes.
Oh, we don't take a hit? We don't get it, but we get an advantage for having employees, right? On our taxes?
I don't know how that part works.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Because I was always under the understanding that because we have 1099 employees, we get deductions on our taxes because we're paying people for services. So it might be a thing where, like, he maybe wants to claim it so that he can write things off on taxes that he can't currently write off, you know? I don't know if that's true.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I really feel like there's he's brought it up a couple of times, like it's something he's helping me with, and there's also been other situations, like recently we were working on a job, and you guys have brought up. Here's something I should bring up. For the last 2 weeks, I've been listening to almost nothing but you two, and I have kind of been brought in by the Chapo Trap House lads, and then somebody else brought it up to me. So I've been listening to you guys, and I started messaging you, and you told me you'd bring me on, and one of the things that you've mentioned recently is having to do illegal things for your employer, and this was something I've encountered many times where just it's really small potato shit, and I'm not saying I put myself at risk, but there's been moments where I've been asked to throw things into trash where if the wrong person were to see me doing it, maybe I'm facing a fine, and I don't know that this guy would eat it for me. And this is just, like one of the other sort of small business tyrant things that I feel like I've encountered.
Yeah, if he's having you illegally dumped because he's too cheap to pay to have stuff dumped, and also probably throwing away stuff that you're not supposed to throw away in the trash. It's like the oil change guy, or the guy that changes your oil and dumps it in the gutter so it goes down the sewer kind of situations too. Those are pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
this is what
I worked. I had a job when Charlotte was born. That was under the table, and I loved it. And it was pretty good money because I also got tipped out. And I worked in the back of the house, but I was making $12 an hour, and I eventually talked him to $14 an hour, and it was under the table. And it was like, this was a part-time job. I was working 18 to 20 hours a week. I mean, if it's my full-time job and I'm working like that precarious situations, like I would need some sort of improvement. Like I would at least be asking for a lunch and a break. And if you're this invested with the guy, I mean, you maybe should, you need to find the breaking point and kind of lean on it and just say like, I'm your right-hand guy, like I should be the fucking partner in this place because it doesn't get done if I'm not here. And no one's going to put up with all of your weird bullshit, you know? Like, you're comfortable as hell, too, because you know that none of your toxic-ass behavior is going to be questioned by your employee, you know?
No, that's a fucking really astute point, dude. You nailed it. A real big part of what I deal with on a day-to-day basis is that me and him can get into squabbles, but I know my value and my standing. And so we've learned to sort of have more quiet squabbles that don't really make waves. And that is, I mean, dude, you absolutely nailed it. I mean, that's sort of what we deal with right now. And I mean, it's so funny that I just, he's like a covered in tattoos guy.
Oh, God.
Who is like all about the police. And I don't understand it. I'm like, dude, you're like an outlaw guy. How are you trying to be the police guy? It's so weird.
Racism. It's always racism. You gotta like just think of it like the reason is because they're racist. So they gotta take the police side because Black Lives Matter pisses them off. You know?
Dude, well, I mean, I gotta cut you off. There's so much of that in my history with this person. I met him at a point in my early 20s when I was a born-again Christian. I met him through a church I was in, and I started to hang out with this guy in the work scenario, and I went along with it for a long time. I believe I voted for McCain in the first Obama election.
Okay.
And I was sort of pressured into that because I was involved in this church scenario. And then I later on in the second Obama election, I was sort of told how to vote from the pulpit, and I left the church, and it made waves between not only me and the church, but me and this guy. It was just crazy shit. I mean, now I'm a fucking, I don't know, I'm a Buddhist or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But
well, you might be able to change his mind too if you give him, if you talk to him. He sounds like he might be possible. You know, you just got to get that outlaw thing to get out there. You know, you got to say like, you're an outlaw. Why you like the police? They're the in-law.
Does he do his own books? Does he do all the taxes, or does he have somebody for that?
You know, I mean, this is why I just called myself Luke from New England, because I didn't want to bring it all on myself. But okay. I mean, I apparently owe the IRS money. I don't know exactly how much, because I'm literally afraid to tap on their shoulder and ask about it, because then they start looking in on you.
Oh, right. And then, yeah, they're going to wonder where your money's coming from now, you're thinking?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's sort of that thing where I'm not sure how the whole thing works.
Yeah, it sounds like you need to maybe, I don't know, you need to have just a conversation with the guy, a better one. Because I'm even thinking of it right now, like, if he just has like an LLC and can appoint you to some bullshit position and give you a salary, that would actually help his taxes tremendously.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It wouldn't, like, if you were just withdrawing your wages as like a member of the board of his LLC, then you would be like helping him a lot. He'd get to write off your entire, all of your wages would go against the spending of the company. You know, it would look like you made no money. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, don't be sorry. To a degree, it feels to me like I'm dealing with a person who is in Trump land, where I can't. If I were to bring up, he's sorry. Let me be more clear. He's told me a few times that if he were to try to bring on only one employee, it won't benefit him at all. It'll actually, he has to match my taxes. Yeah, basically, whatever I make, he has to put that up. And then he's sort of broken the whole thing down and sort of made it sound like he's at a disadvantage. And then later on, when it benefits him in argument, he explains how I'm actually helping you out. So, I mean, I always try to work these things out in my head, like, should I bother probing to the center of this? Like I said, I do make fairly decent money. As long as I get paid cash and per day, and I get an envelope at the end of the week, and that's last week's pay.
Yeah.
So I'm in that sort of a situation. So I'm always like, if I quit, do I even get the last envelope? I don't even know. He seems like a very nice guy, but...
Well, we have to get some more calls, but I would say my homework is I would go look at other job listings. Like Brian said, you do have a valuable skill. I would take a look and see what's out there and what's available, because you're always going to be at the whim at some crazed madman in this situation, and it's just feels like you're dancing on the edge of a knife the whole time. You know, if the money's good, like I've been in a situation, I put up with it. I had a really shitty boss that was abusive and weird, and I knew I was going to quit the job, so I would go in there and just roll with the punches. But if I thought this was going to be my moneymaker for, you know, however many more years, I'm like, I want to feel better about this relationship that I'm in. But thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
I mean, thank you.
Thank you for calling. Yeah, and good luck. I mean, nothing is in a hurry, you know. So I'm sure you have time to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been working with the guy for a long time, so it's something that I can work on.
And
hey,
at least
for the attention.
At least you get to listen. Yeah, and at least you get to listen to some cool music while you're working. So that's something. You know, Seether, Careless Whisper.
Yeah.
That's a banger.
Lips of an Angel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for calling. Yeah. I miss people making me listen to that music.
Yeah.
I had to actually make myself listen to it so that I could get back to it.
Yeah, just a little revisit. All right. We got some jump-ins here.
What do we got?
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? Hello?
Unmute yourself.
Skelly
They always
Wally.
mute themselves.
Yeah, this might be a mutation.
This is a muter. A mutant.
A mutant.
I think the best insult is mutant, I think.
Yeah, mutant's great.
I listen to this show called Voices of Wrestling, and they call people who collect title belts belt mutants. And every time I'm like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, well next call.
Guess mutated into a skeleton.
Maybe they drove under a bridge.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey guys, you got me unprepared. I'm like looking. I went and bought like cigars and a new lighter tonight, so I'm like looking around, but I'll focus on the call. So,
okay.
It's Echo 65. Robert, hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Robert? How's it going?
Thanks for tolerating me once again. Check in. I'm doing much better now that I'm not under the shadow of thinking I'm gonna die. Like that was really taking a toll on me when I called last time. If you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I've kind of just gotten over it, and I've adjusted to my like new state of being, and so now I'm just trying to make the most of it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's
which means I'm busy all the time. I haven't played video games in like 2-3 weeks, and video games are kind of my life, but I've been so busy. I've been doing this.
I'm with you.
But that's not what I called for, so I should get a message.
Okay, what's
up? Q.
Oh yeah. Well, first off, tagging the other calls, like I kind of get irritated whenever somebody makes fun of Texas, because like they're not going to be comrades in 5 years, but they're going to be a purple or blue state in 5 years, and it'd be cool if we like started treating them as such with respect. Like that's a lot of electoralism sucks, but like that's a lot of electoral votes. So
Sure.
Let's bump up Texas. Like Texas is good.
I think Texas rules.
I like the people.
I've been to Texas a couple times.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
I really like the people in Texas.
Yep.
Yeah. Then another call earlier was about Jenny's, and I was watching. You guys ever watch Hot Ones?
Yes. I have watched Hot Ones.
It's like, it's an interview show. They had like an on-location episode one time at this like posh LA wing place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And part of the feature of the video was them showing their collection of Jenny's ice cream in the back, and it was a big deal.
People love that shit.
And I was like, oh, I guess Jenny's is a big deal now.
It is.
Like,
Funny
yeah, they're
that-
primarily in Ohio and in LA.
A collection also. It's funny that people have collections. I have the whole August 2020 menu available in my deep freezer.
And they do like hype beast
Nice.
type stuff.
Yeah, they do.
had,
Hype beast drops. Yeah.
They had Tyler the Creator do a flavor.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got star power.
Yeah.
Third thing, you guys, did one of you guys edit that highlight video from the other week, from last week?
Never.
Jake does
Me
the
and
highlight
Brett
bits.
would never.
Okay.
Me and Brett would never.
Okay,
do
I was
anything
wondering.
with a video.
Dude, I thought one of you guys went to school, but whoever did that did an excellent job. Everybody listening needs to go watch that video. It's amazing, and I can't wait for the next one he does.
Oh,
Very
well,
good.
then I did it, actually. I was the one that edited that video.
Well,
I did a
thank you,
good
Bri.
job.
You made me smile. That was very nice of you, actually.
You know, I work hard.
So originally I was going to call in with a conspiracy type story, but I'm a little rusty on what I was going to say. I also have a gross mucus story that changed my life on top of my life already being changed. So
Okay.
you can either pick the conspiracy story that I might fumble or the mucus story, which is fresh in my head because it was 2 days ago.
Why don't we do the conspiracy story? Just because the mucus story might be a little, might make me nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's that I cleared out my sinuses. I basically deep cleaned all of the sinuses in my face, and I feel like a new person now.
Okay. You do the neti pot?
Yeah. No, I just use like a simple nasal saline solution, right? Because the key is salt. It's the saline. And so, yeah. Do you want to hear about it, or you want me to like try to switch to the other story?
Let's try to do the conspiracy one because we're running out of time here.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear about
yeah.
conspiracy.
And I want to be. Yeah, I don't want to meander. Okay, I'll go sit down to try to get this out better.
Okay.
It's funny. I'm going to come sit with my Google speaker, which is the subject of the conspiracy thing.
Oh.
So it's like a concept, right? I call it Google Jesus because the Google speaker, like I have a Google speaker I'm looking at right now. I have one upstairs. It's kind of like your little miniature Oracle Jesus figure in your home, right? I'm getting too excited. I'm getting out of breath.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. So the way the Google speaker is like Jesus, right? Or God, because it's omniscient, it's omnipotent, it knows everything. If you ask it a math question, if you ask like what 1,000,000 times 5 is or whatever you want to say, it knows the answer. If you want to know facts, it knows the facts, right? So it has all the answers for you. And it can help you out. It's like you can interact with it and set a schedule and blah, 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 which is
we know
some
the
church
features.
analog, whatever.
Yeah. Brett has
Yeah,
Alexa,
yeah.
so I've seen it work.
But the fun thing is the ways in which Google Jesus is omnipotent that we will never know of, and ways that we don't ever conceive of. There are things that Google knows that we will never know, and some of us never will know that we don't know.
Yeah.
As in, like, there is a solid data point that exists in the world of how many murders have been witnessed by a Google speaker. Like, that's just a data point that exists and that we will never know. But Google Jesus knows that fact. Among all the other things that Google Jesus has heard everything.
I would like to know that answer, to tell you the truth. That is an interesting question to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll contact Google and say how many murders have happened under your watchful
Hey, you know what?
eye.
After this call, somebody might call in and ask them,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's all sorts of like other trauma and weird data points that like we don't even know that Google knows, and they use it for like capitalism. They use this data to further drive their goals and their data collection and
They'll be
whatever.
like, your Google speaker noticed a murder happen. Would you like to buy a new knife? Is what it'd say. It's like one day you're looking through your Google News stories, which I do every day. Totally useless shit. But it'll say, like, I know you're interested in knives because you killed that person in front of a speaker.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
the way I'm
thanks for the
suggesting
idea,
it,
but we got more people in the queue.
We got a
Okay,
bunch
yes.
of people in the queue.
You do.
Yeah, and we got like
Yes, you
20
do.
minutes.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
I'm glad I got on and talked to you guys.
Yeah, give us a call next week. We're
plug-
always around. Well, not next week because
Yeah,
it's
plug
ABCD,
Twitter
but
Echoes.
the week after.
Okay, yeah. I don't qualify for that show. Yeah, Twitter Echo65, TikTok /Echo65. I'll talk to you guys.
Nice.
in a couple
Hey,
weeks.
sorry about that. We'll get
All right,
you. We'll
thanks.
give you a longer
It's
time
cool.
next time.
No.
All right, next call.
Yeah, Google Jesus.
Google Jesus. Yeah, someone pointed out in the chat, God has never done math for me. You know, God
That's true.
you
Google's
can't
better
just
than
say,
God.
Hey, God, do some math for me.
Google's better than God.
Right.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. They did say don't do evil, so
Okay.
don't be evil. Was that their thing?
Google?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Their
thought they were totally
original
evil.
quote was
yes.
like, "Don't be evil."
That sounds like a trivia thing. That sounds like a Jeopardy question.
That sounds like something I would say.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hi, yes, this is Grayson from Orange County, California, also
Grayson!
known as Fixer Punk in the chat.
What's up, Grayson? How's it going?
Going pretty well tonight. I wanted to call in during the Get Motivated, but I didn't even know that was a call-in show. But I promised that I would call in and share this Dave Ramsey / crappy job story.
I would love to hear it because we're talking about Dave Ramsey tomorrow.
Yeah, this is perfect timing.
I'm so glad I could help. So after I graduated college, I got the veritable slew of crappy jobs, confounded by the fact that I had anxiety issues and practically agoraphobia for a while because of an accident that I had that gave me a concussion. And that's a whole other story on the corruption of the American legal system and how suing the government is something that no lawyer wants to help you to do.
Okay.
But I actually... Dave Ramsey kind of motivated me to go out and try to get a bunch of what turned out to be crappy jobs to try to pay down my debt using my credit card debt, using the debt snowball method, the gazelle intensity. I was so gung-ho for it. I would go around talking to my family and impersonating Dave Ramsey when telling his points. And I noticed, though, that unfortunately, when I was listening to Dave Ramsey, I started to get a lot of my anxiety symptoms at times, especially when he was criticizing certain types of behaviors.
Oh.
And it would be so viscerally bad that it was like my PTSD startle responses.
Yeah.
And I went in to get the treatment that I needed that ultimately practically cured me of my PTSD. And I bought a bunch of Dave Ramsey's DVDs to bring in with me to this treatment called neurofeedback, where they stuck EEG wires to your head while training your brain to repair itself, basically, and not have these anxiety responses. And they would let you watch a DVD of something during the whatever you wanted to bring in during the treatment session, while the computers were monitoring your brain. So I decided, okay, I'm having these anxiety responses to Dave Ramsey. I went in there and gave him the Dave Ramsey disc, and I would watch that while it was testing my brain to see, okay, when am I going to get this anxiety response? Which it was basically, the pattern was just that everything would be fine for a while, and then just all of a sudden I would start to tense up and get upset over one of the things he was saying. It would take me a while to calm right back down. It was a lot less insightful than I thought in terms of the data, but I literally had wired my head to a computer, or a medical professional wired my head to a computer to monitor what my brain was doing when I was getting anxious over Dave Ramsey, because I thought, okay, if I can train myself to think better and not have this response, then maybe I can learn this Dave Ramsey stuff and get it down, when in fact I was really dealing with the oppression of a bad government and capitalism. That's why I had a bunch of debt. And it was cognitive dissonance that was actually causing me to have these reactions.
That is wild, though, that you were able to narrow it down to like, holy shit, Dave Ramsey's giving me panic attacks. Because I would feel the same way. I think, just from the limited amount I've listened to of his, he does seem to be trying to give you anxiety. Like,
well, I would
seems like his whole game there.
And the people that I know that actually still preach Dave Ramsey had extremely harsh fathers that judged everything they did and thought every decision they made was stupid. That's stupid. And Dave Ramsey really comes off like your dad saying, "What the hell are you doing? You're stupid. You went and got McDonald's. You're stupid. You went Starbucks. You're stupid. You didn't try to get a better job. You didn't do all this. You should have known. And it is. I think it makes people feel like the problem with self-help is that it gets people into this spiral where they feel like they're doing something just because they're heightening their awareness of the bad behaviors in their lives, but that's not accomplishing anything.
No. No, you're actually right. And also, Dave Ramsey saying, "Are you eating avocados instead of chili out of a can?" That's stupid.
Yeah.
You know how much an avocado is? You know how much a whole can of chili is?
Right.
I rest my case. I'm Dave Ramsey. No, he comes off like a total fucking prick. And I'm sure I'm going to get anxious listening to him tomorrow. Because he just, I don't know. I think that like the way it feels with these financial self-help gurus is that like the whole goal is to make you second guess any time you've ever decided to choose luxury over like stuff. They want you to live like a Spartan lifestyle that you get nothing good until you die, really.
Yeah.
Because they always say if you get rich people don't buy Lamborghinis, and you're like, but like, why not?
Yeah, well, I'm 65. You said I'm going to have $8 million when I'm 65. I can't get a Lamborghini even then?
Yeah, it seems like you should be allowed to have a Lamborghini if you have $8 million. But that's just my thing, That's wild though, Grayson. That was a great story.
Did the staff have anything to say about Dave Ramsey at all? Did they make any comments?
Not really. The doctor, I was surprised that they weren't too familiar because the doctor I went to was Christian. He had spoken at some local churches, but they didn't really make any comments about it. The only thing was the very nice technician who was like, you want to really invest your energy into this. When I would just say I need to take a break from this, can we restart? Very compassionate approach to it, but yeah, it was definitely a very interesting experience, and it took me a while to kind of figure out what's going on. I was, even then though, the thing is I was still skeptical, and I've had to learn to trust my own skepticism because a lot of this conservative rhetoric is very fear-based.
Yeah.
And I tend to fall prey to it. It's ruined my life in so many different ways because I felt like, okay, this means I need to act, and I need to act in the way they need to act. And I'm like, no, I need to think of a way to work through this in a more unique and a more creative way to get my goal back to the be a pitcher, not a thrower model that I mentioned on a prior call. Find a unique way around it from what you're being signaled to. And I actually wound up even making fun of Dave Ramsey at some point on an episode of my podcast, even during this whole thing, is because I knew intuitively that it was wrong, but I couldn't quite put the finger on why exactly it was wrong.
So Dave Ramsey only makes sense if you have a major concussion.
The thing is, though, anxiety does make you do some pretty weird shit.
Yeah.
You see my habits that are horrible, and a lot of them are developed around a life of constant anxiety, And like, I mean, I totally understand it. When you have a brain that goes over the bad stuff over and over and over again constantly, I can see getting sucked in by somebody who is just reiterating the bad stuff, like saying that the habits you have make you bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I could understand.
Yeah.
I think the anxiety comes from, a lot of us with anxiety. I can speak for me. As a person with anxiety who it all centers around like kind of being a bad person. Like in my mind, like I just think like I'm a bad person. I never do the right thing. I always say the wrong thing. I'm evil. I'm mean and shit like that. That like a guy that just comes on and says like all those bad decisions you made were bad decisions and you should be punished for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. What I did find though is that with those types of responses, that like physical movement is like the thing that would fix them. Like when I was listening to Dave Ramsey, got some of those feelings. Like I literally timed it so that I would listen, even when I put on your get motivated episode. I would time it around, so this is like the time when I'm going to be doing my workout, because I know that I can use that adrenaline rush in some sort of positive way, instead of just imploding upon myself with it if I have to subject myself to such information. And I don't want to impose on you guys, but somebody did say in the chat of one of the times I've called into the show, this guy should start a podcast. So if you're okay with it, I'll give you the website to find my podcast.
Yes, please. Have us on.
So it's absolutely. I'd love to. I have to figure out the tech of getting the call-in thing and Spreaker, which is the solution that I've started to use, and it's very embryonic. There's some old stuff on there, but it's at fixerpunk.com, which is the username I use in the chat, fixerpunk.com, and you'll find everything. Or just look for the Fixer Punk podcast on basically every platform out there.
Sweet. Good luck with it, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, and Grayson, I wanted to say Dave Ramsey may have beat you down, but you actually did inspire me and motivate me with your explanation of finding a unique way to get around things. It's going to require something outside of the negative mindset, but it's possible to get through the problems. It's just going to take a new way of thinking about it instead of beating yourself up. I love it.
Yes. I'm starting to learn kind of the revolutionary mental attitude, to steal a line from a song.
PMA.
And thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for calling.
Peace.
All right. Peace.
Drop the call. It's not dropping. Here we go.
Not dropping. All right, get it.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is Justin Comer.
Justin, what's up, man?
Buddy?
How's it going, fellas?
Great. What's going on tonight?
Well, I don't have too much to say tonight, but I did want to tell you, Brian, that your show makes me want to puke.
Oh, no. He feels ashamed right now.
Now I'm going to go home and think about this call, Justin. If I didn't know...
Oh, my God.
If I didn't know you well enough, I would say... I'm going to go home and think about this for the rest of the night. But instead, I know you're a good guy, did your podcast, and it was wonderful. Justin lives in Iowa. He's never listened to Slipknot. So that's a little thing for the listeners that bothers me a little, but what are you going to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was just a joke. The other day, Brian tweeted that something he loves about all the shock jocks he listens to, or Stern specifically.
Oh, that's right.
So many callers. Yeah. So many callers call in to say that the show makes them want to puke or that they're masturbating.
Yes.
So I figured I would just call in and say that for you.
They do. They'll call in and be like, I was listening yesterday when Ronnie described putting stuff in his ass and I wanted to puke. Or like, I was listening yesterday when you had that girl on and I was just I pulled over my car and I just jacked off. And it's like, what? Stop it. Like, that's not even like a cool thing to lie about.
No.
You know?
No.
Why are you doing this?
You're in trouble.
I actually started thinking about it after I posted that, Justin, and I think those are plants. Yeah. I now believe those to be plants now.
That makes sense, because, I mean, no normal person would ever call to say that, I don't think.
Jacking off is the weirdest thing in the world. I mean, the act of jacking off is not that weird, but I'm saying you're jacking off to a radio show is a very odd thing.
Yeah.
But I would love it if more people called in and said, I was listening to your show last week, and when you were talking about pooping, I fucking barked.
No, when we were talking about plowing.
Yeah.
Someone said our plow talk sounded very sexy.
Oh, when we talked about plow. Oh, I was listening, you guys were talking about plowing, and I just fucking beat off to it. It was cool.
It got me too excited.
Yeah, hell yeah. So you got anything else, man?
No, I guess everyone listening, you should also listen to my podcast.
Rock Hard
because
Caucus.
It's a lot like Street Fight.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
right.
It's a good time. I was on it recently, and it was a lot of fun.
I did it as well. So, yeah, you can definitely check out our appearances on there.
And, again,
yeah, I got
please
both of them.
pressure these people into listening to Slipknot. Because this is just a crime, actually, to tell you the truth.
Actually, that would be a good opportunity for me to plug. We did just put up a Patreon goal. If we reach $100 a month, we will listen to and review Slipknot's album Iowa.
Ooh, that's a big get.
Hey.
Yeah.
You know, I think you need to, first of all. I think Iowa would freak out you guys a little bit because, you know, it's a little heavier, it's a little harder core, you know, than maybe what you're used to. But I'll tell you what, if you just give it a chance, it'll blow you away.
Yeah, I'm pretty open to heavy music. It's just not like my main forte, you know?
Yeah. Well, I hope you get there.
Yeah.
I think you will. And the podcast is good. Listen in. And Justin K. Comer on Twitter, right?
That's correct.
I'm a fan of Justin. Go follow him. He's cool. Thanks for calling, Justin. Thanks for barfing to my show.
Thanks, Brian. Of course. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Next time, beat off, though, okay?
Okay, I'll do that next week.
Yeah. Hey, I'm listening to your show this week, and you were talking about a small business tyrant, and I just started cranking my hog.
Yeah, I'll just talk about the Google speaker being
Google
God.
Jesus.
It got me really horny.
I'm an exhibitionist. I realized that the Google Jesus knows that I jack off all the time. It has it cataloged. The Google has a catalog of all the time I cranked my hog.
Oh my God, they probably do. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
I know that sound. They know that specific sound you make.
Yeah. And then in the future, one day, they're going to fucking play it when you get out of line. That's how the government's going to control you.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, this is
no.
what he sounds like when he jacks off, and everybody in the country will laugh at you.
Yep.
Thanks for calling, Justin.
All right, see you guys.
Peace.
Dave Ramsey will go on TV and play the audio.
Yeah.
You know what's? He reminded me of something, but this was way back with the Jenny's call. I just realized that it would be kind of fun to hand people ice cream samples because you get some very hilarious reactions. 'Cause
Really?
people are going to be like disgusted immediately. They'll be more unfiltered, you know? I feel it would make me laugh to see someone try goat cheese ice cream and be like, ah.
Yeah. That's what I would do, probably.
Let's see. Last call to end them all. Thanks for talking to Street Fight or calling in. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey guys, it's Bobby. Can you hear me?
Yep. What's up, Bobby?
Yo, what's going on, guys? I just have a really good, quick, dumb boss story to tell you.
Yay. That's
go
exactly
for
what we
it.
need.
So, my current boss owns like 5 different beer stores, and he owns the stores, but he does not like. I work at the one where he owns the property, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So, like, the other stores are in like shopping malls and stuff where they have contracts to like clear snow out and shit, you know.
Okay.
All right.
So I work at the one. So like so he tries to get us to clear all the snow out, and then, you know, I'm the only employee for like, you know, 12 hours a day, I guess. Like whatever,
What?
it's no big deal. Like an easy job.
Yeah. But you're also in
calls,
charge
like-
of doing the snow?
I mean, apparently I don't really consider myself to be in charge because he calls like twice a day and says that like a snow plow's coming or something.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
like I clear out like what's needed like in front of the store and stuff like that, like just so that like just enough that people don't slip, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I parked my car there for a couple days because I live around the block, and then I had to dig my car out, and he walked in asking what my car was doing there.
Okay.
What?
What now?
I told him, I was like, yeah, I told him, I was like, hey, dude, like, do you mind if I like park my car here for a couple days? Like, I don't have a spot. Like, you know, like I live around the block and I'm opening. And he says, no big deal. And then he looks at the security cameras and goes, whose car is that? I'm like, I'm sorry, that's my car. He's like, oh, okay. And then he calls again and says, hey, did the plow come and did any salt come? And I'm like, no, not at all, because my car is like placed in at this point.
Oh no!
It's such a good like.
That fucking sucks
it's such
too.
a good like dumb person story. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I got it out. You know, I got it out earlier today, and I was driving around. Like, it's no big deal, but I was still like, it still made me look through everything. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, what is happening right now?
Doesn't want to deal with that snow.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. This is the only lot that he actually owns. If that, you know, like the only lot that he's responsible for, and like there's nothing that's being done to it. So it's a very good like dumb person story.
Yeah, cheap.
I
too.
think at
No
least.
idea. Yeah, cheap. No idea.
It's just so cheap.
If I don't do anything, it'll be fine.
Yeah, snow melts.
Snow melts.
You know, that's the way I probably would think too.
That's how I live my life.
Brett lives his life. Brett really seriously, sincerely lives the snow melts lifestyle, as we say.
Yeah, I should be better. I will.
Well, it's too late now.
Too late. Maybe
So-
next year.
Well, thanks for calling in. That was a good dumb boss story.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, peace.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
see
the
ya.
show. That's Street Fight Radio. Thanks to everybody that supports what we do. The plan, I hate announcing things. The plan is this Thursday to do our first D&D live stream. That's going to be on Thursday night in the evening time around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., somewhere in there. I'll send out information this week as we get closer to the date. Brian and I and Jake and Tasha are going to be playing the first episode of our D&D campaign. You can watch that on twitch.tv/StreetFightRadio. We're going to be raising money for Texas Mutual Aid Funds. I know they're doing a hell of a lot of good things right now. So that's what we'll be doing during the stream. And Twitch makes that it's the easiest to do that on Twitch. So if you don't have an account, head over to twitch.tv/StreetFightRadio and you can do that for us. We will see you on Wednesday night with a regular basement show. Next Sunday is the ABCD call-in show. That's anybody but cis dudes. You got it? So don't call in if you're not. And we will see you on Wednesday and on the internet. He's Murder X Brian on Twitter. I'm Street Fight WCRS on Instagram.